They're not that far around the corner. The trials, the Canadian Trials 2005 will be in Halifax. 4 of the spots are already determined. There's a 5th spot available here. Jeff Stoughton led the Canadian team ranking system coming in, and he couldn't be caught because Wayne Madaw was the only guy who could have done it, but Wayne won his first. Trials goes to Jeff Stoughton.
And Jeff Stoughton has more than answered the bell with a perfect 5-0 record heading into this Final 8. As far as Guy Hemmings is concerned, any time Guy Hemmings is in a big curling match, kind of brings a little extra flair. So nice to have him in our featured matchup today.
Well, Guy Hemmings is certainly a crowd favorite, but he had his hands full with Brad Gushu in the tiebreaker this morning. But he has Pierre Charette. They see coming back together, so I'm sure it'll be a great game.
And I think it's fair to say that it's been a bit of an up and down year for Kevin Martin. He has not won on the Grand Slam Tour so far, as the big 3 events up until now, but as usual, he finds a way to qualify for the Final 8.
He's on a really slow click this year. Last year he had won over 100,000 more than this year. This year he's only won 44,000, which is not bad. But he's done well here over the years. Isn't this the 12th year of the Tour Championship? He has won the World Curling Tour Championship 3 times. He's looking for a 4th title.
As far as the other matchups are concerned today, which ones are catching both your eyes?
Well, you got to look at Mark Noseworthy here. He's made the crowd stand on their feet, cheering for him. But he's playing Jeff Stoughton, the defending champion, and Jeff certainly knows how to throw those rocks to win his title again.
And Ed, for yourself, I think you like a matchup involving 2 of the game's younger skips.
Most definitely. The young guns are on sheet B. Pat Simmons from Saskatchewan. He's done very well on the tour this year, and he's playing former World Junior champion John Morris. That should be a terrific match.
Well, don't go away, because we'll keep you posted on all 4 of the quarterfinal matchups. So the Pharmacist Players Championship. It's the Grand Slam of Curling, presented by M&M Meat Shops on the Rock. And they'll be throwing plenty of them when we return right after this.
Meal Ideas, one eye. Every day, you have to work at the things you love. It takes patience, motivation, and the support of those around you. Most of all, it takes time. Like Carrie Burtnick, our pharmacists take the time for you and your family. Visit one of our over 1,100 participating pharmacies today. We take the time to care, and caring is the most important part of healthcare.
Et puis, le jour s'en ira, écoute-moi, alqueredo, maneggio picchia, pochia, e io feci senza esclusione. E tu, e che fa, ma melantiti, di canzoni. Nostra, questiolaria, I did it my way.
Hi, I'm Keith Hernandez.
And I'm Walt Clyde Frazier.
What a marvelous night for the action.
Let's go to the play-by-play.
Oh, there's Mr. Graybeard approaching Miss Hottie. Oh, no.
Rejected.
Clyde, that's gotta hurt.
Yeah, no play for Mr. Gray. Get that man our Just for Men Fresh In Color Gel.
It's specially formulated to penetrate coarse facial hair and gets rid of gray in 5 easy minutes.
Gets rid of strikeouts, too. Just for Men Gel. The Rejuvenator.
So, that's the service bay. Okay. This is the customer waiting area. And that is the posting board.
Okay.
Your first job is to go through these.
Boy, they work just like dogs around here, don't they?
And cut out the competition's ads.
That's good thinking, because you don't want people reading.
And you post them up there.
That's really dumb.
Well, that way our customers don't have to go all over town to compare prices. They can see that we offer great deals right here.
It's going to be awfully tough to compete with an offer like this.
Well, that's one of ours.
That's why you're in management. And, you know, I'm not.
For all your car needs, Fountain Tire, home of the tire experts, and a whole lot more.
Hi there, this is Jody Vance. Sorry I can't come to the phone right now, but please leave a message after the tone.
You're watching Rogers Sportsnet and the Pharmacist Players Championship. Brought to you by Pharmacist. We take the time. M&M Meat Shop. Hundreds of meal ideas, one aisle. And by Viagra. talk to your doctor.
Welcome to one of the prettiest cities in all the country. You're looking at downtown St. John's, Newfoundland, in lovely Mile 1 Stadium for the Pharmacists Grand Slam of Curling, presented by M&M Meat Shops. It's the Players' Championship, and young and old have thoroughly enjoyed the curling, involving 18 teams today, but then there were 8. And here's our quarterfinal matchups, and we'll be keeping an eye on all of them. John Morris, Pat Simmons, Mark Noseworthy, and the defending champion, Winnipeg's Jeff Stoughton, and the all-Saskatchewan matchup, Glenn Despins and Brad Hyde. In our feature matchup, as we meet Team Hemmings and Team Martin, we begin with the foursome from Quebec. Guy Hemmings, a two-time Canadian championship runner-up, along with Martin Furland, Pierre Charette, and Dale Ness. And as for Team Martin, Kevin Martin, of course, at skips, Donnie Walchuk at third, Carter Rycroft, the youngster, at second in the lead. From Gander, Newfoundland, Don Bartlett, who just celebrated a birthday here this week on the 1st of April. Ed and Marilyn, I really like this matchup to begin this weekend. Two veteran skips who have tremendous resumes, and as far as Guy Hemmings is concerned, the road a little more difficult this week because he needed to win a qualifier, or at least a tiebreaker, earlier today over Brad Gushu just to make the final 8th spot.
It's been a struggle for Guy Hemmings this year all the way along, and even in the provincial final this year in Quebec, it didn't go well for him. And on the tour, he hasn't won a lot of money this year, kind of an off season. What do you think, Marilyn?
Well, you know, they work hard at the game. Pierre Charette, they keep coming back to each other. It's like, you know, this relationship that'll never end. And they've worked hard, and I give them credit for being here. They had to play a tough tiebreaker, as he said this morning, against Brad Gushu, and there were a lot of people out that watching that show this morning.
And of course, we know that Guy Hemmings is such a crowd favorite, and probably the only time the crowd's never pulled for him was against Brad Gushu, the local favorite here in the game today. But fans always love him.
Here is how the teams qualified for this 18-team Players' Championship. The top 12 from the money list, 2 European invites, Brewster and Stockley, 2 sponsor exemptions, and of course those are the 2 local rinks, Brad Gushu and Mark Noseworthy, the U.S. invite, and 1 fan ballot. And our rock colors for this afternoon's feature matchup in quarterfinal, Kevin Martin will be throwing the Yellow Stones, and as far as Team Hemmings, Guy Hemmings and company will be throwing the Blue Rocks. And for both Ed and Marilyn, do you expect this game to get off to a very aggressive beginning?
Well, you know how the style of Martin's players play, and that's just go on it, get out there, score the points quick. And, you know, I have to mention one thing, that the Rocks travel with these teams all across Canada with the Grand Slam events, Ed, and they love these rocks. Without these rocks, the ice wouldn't be that good.
The teams are very used to them, and Mark Shurik, the ice tech, he makes a lot of curl in the ice, so we got about 4 feet of move in either direction.
31-year-old Dale Ness in his 9th year, as you just saw, with Guy Hemmings to deliver the opening rock of this match in his 20th year of curling.
Top 4. Couple of thoughts here. They may play this first one into the rings. They wouldn't if they know Martin's going to hit it, but they're absolutely sure that Martin will throw a corner, but no, he's playing the tap instead.
And interestingly enough, I guess maybe not that interesting when you take a look at Donnie Bartlett from Gander, Newfoundland, just turned
back, watch now.
41 years old on April the 1st in his 30th year. And
okay. Whoa! Well, I'm glad you told everybody his age. He's proud of it, I'm sure.
Huh? Back 12.
Harder to Timmy! Harder to Timmy!
that will tap that rock back.
Whoa. Okay.
And out as we make our way to the rules of play. Of course, it's the 4-rock rule. 75 minutes and, when needed, 2 1-minute timeouts.
Well, generally that's a lot of time, although I think we've been experienced over the years enough to know that Pierre Charette and Guy Hemmings quite often like to play a slow game. They like to use every bit of that clock.
This morning's game was a tiebreaker game. It only was 8 ends, and they were still over on their time there a little bit.
6-4 Guy Hemmings knocking off Brad Gushu in the tiebreaker to determine the 8th and final quarterfinalist.
About the same, eh? A
Hard
little
line.
less.
Hard line. Hard line.
Playing the tap again.
Hard, guys. Hard, hard.
Don Bartlett with the end turn. And he was just a little heavy on his first one. They didn't want to tap that first one right out of the ring. They wanted to have it, keep it back there and hope to get a jam later in the end. Over curled for him.
Okay.
Way over curled for him.
Curled a lot at the end, didn't it? And it comes to rest at the back of the 12.
But it is a troublemaker, and Hemmings not having the last rock. Playing a hit on here, feeling that he should deal with that stone in the back ring.
48-year-old Pierre Charette. Marilyn, it was interesting. You talk about the love affair involving these two gentlemen that never goes away, involving Charette and Guy Hemmings.
Well, Pierre actually, you know, he had a team last year with the Furland brothers playing, and they won an event last year, ending Kevin Martin's streak. So, now Pierre puts a lot of time into the game.
You're referring, of course, to the National that was staged in Humboldt as we get our first look at Carter Rycroft, the youngster at 26 years old in his 14th year of curling.
Weight's good.
And
Weight's good.
Going to be a lot of sad gals across the country. He's engaged to be married May 11th.
No matter what event you go to, he's such a personable young man, and yes, the young ladies are always in search of a little time and some autographs with Mr. Rycroft.
A nice tap there. Martin's getting what he wants here. He is building up some rocks in the back ring, and he will be able to freeze down to those and use them as backing.
Pierre Charette about to deliver his second stone. We're very early and number one, and of course we'll keep you abreast of the other 3 quarterfinal matchups.
Hard! Right up! Harder! Harder! Hard! All the way, guys, all the way, guys.
A jam there by Charette. And he's a guy who's played every position at the Brier, lead, second, third, and skip, and even 5th position. So he's covered all the bases.
And he won a Grand Slam event at the National. Marilyn referred to it. An 8-7 win over Glenn Howard in that championship final after he downed Kevin Martin in a semifinal.
Right up, looking good.
Well, they got the jam here, and now Martin's trying to work towards an early 2-ender. He does have the hammer in this opening end.
And gets the hit and roll. Ice Notes are brought to you by M&M Meat Shops.
Very fat, very, very quick ice, and fantastic stuff. 4 feet curled each way, and we try to call it 4x4, and 24 curls 4 feet each way, and 24-second speed ice.
Players love playing on this ice, and Mark Sherrick really does a super job. Every event, it's always the same.
And that's exactly what all the players say when you talk to them. And they absolutely love the consistency. And I was talking to Carter Rycroft before today's game, and he said, Peter, it doesn't matter what venue, what the size of the venue is. This is truly one of the larger venues for a Grand Slam event here at the Players' Championship at Mile 1. And they all say to a man that it does not matter. The conditions are always the same. The product of Melville, Saskatchewan, Donnie Walchuk. What a tremendous resume for this third. A 5-time Brier All-Star.
And if you're wondering where that beautiful tan came from with Don, it was right off the airplane from Cancun. He and his family spent 11 wonderful days down there.
Rolled out there and didn't hit and stay, so lost that opportunity to take home a 2-ender.
It's going to be interesting, Ed, to see how this chemistry of Martin's team is playing. Haven't played in a long time, as most of the Grand Slammers haven't since their provincial playdowns.
Team Hemmings third is Martin Furland.
Really throws a solid delivery, and when we saw him throwing the skip stones last year on this Charette team, he really has a fine hit and draw game as well.
I really like this player, Martin Furland. He actually threw the last rocks when he played with Pierre Charette. Very intense player, listens to what to what Pierre is giving him the advice. Just a good player all around.
And as a skip back in 1989, Martin Furland captured a Quebec provincial junior title and made his way to the Canadian junior men's crown as a skip in that year for Quebec.
Line's good. Make sure it's back
Walter
here.
trying to make up for his miss on the first one, playing a freeze up to the back stones in the back 12-foot.
No line.
We're all there.
Yeah,
With his first rock, wanted the hit and stick, of course, and ended up rolling away.
And because the ice is clipped before the game, the pebble is clipped, and the teams get to practice. The ice is very keen right off the get-go, right in the first and second end.
Now that was perfect weight. Didn't seem to finish there in the end, Ed.
A bit too much ice.
Ouais, c'est justement, si tu roules là, ça va te bien. T'en es là, madame? OK.
How's your French?
Come see, come ça.
Including Mark.
As we get a look at Guy Hemmings, his first full year as far as being on the Grand Slam circuit.
Yeah.
Guy Hemmings advanced to the M&M Meat Shops Masters to the Final 8 before he lost the quarterfinal in Sudbury to Jeff Stoughton.
It's clean.
And it was in the Brier finals in 1988 and 99 where Guy really became a fan favorite. Three of these members of the team were on that team. They lost in 98, lost the final to Wayne Madon, and 99 to Jeff Stoughton. So they've had a tremendous Brier record, but never quite been able to crack through.
No, and Guy's been famous once he made that perfect draw to the button, you know, against Gerald Stimko, and the crowd just went crazy for Guy.
Yeah, that's on a highlight reel for all-time great Brier games.
That is, without a doubt, the best Brier game I've ever been fortunate enough to be in attendance for. What a shot to close that game out. Kevin Martin with his first rock of the afternoon. A three-time Players Champion.
Quick! Good.
Could have elected to freeze with a little bit of a tap there. Instead, he's going for the blank. Hit that hard, got rid of them both, and with the kind of weight he throws now, it should be a pretty easy blank for him on his next shot.
Kevin Martin's team coming third in 2 Grand Slam events so far this year. The Canadian Open, as well as the M&M Meat Shops Masters. Of course, Kevin did not participate in the National in Prince Albert at the end of January.
No, and they've elected to go into their playdowns and unsuccessfully didn't do very well. Randy Kirby played him in the first game. Kevin Martin, they complained that the draw should have been made up so they could watch him in the finals. You know, even at a night draw.
But when you look at it from this point of view, Kevin Martin ended up losing 7 games in total to finally lose out of his provincial playdowns. You know, that's a lot of games. I think when you lose that many, you deserve to be out.
Exactly, and they didn't play well, and Kevin's the first one to admit it.
Yeah, Kevin not one to pull any punches. There's no question about that. As Kevin Martin looks to blank with his last rock of end number 1.
Clean. Good. Good shot.
And no mistake for Kevin Martin, who will hang on to the hammer in end number 2. We're nicely underway. It's quarterfinal Saturday at the Pharmacist Players Championship.
At M&M Meat Shops, we wanted our name to reflect more of what we offer.
Hello, M&M Meat, and hundreds of mouth-watering complete meals you can prepare quickly and easily to please the whole family. Shops. Can I help you?
But then again, why not just show you? Complete meals like New York strip loin with gourmet stuffed potato, stuffed turkey breast with farm fresh vegetable blend, and desserts like chocolate caramel pecan cheesecake. M&M Meat Shops. Hundreds of meal ideas. One aisle.
Every day, you have to work at the things you love. It takes patience, motivation, and the support of those around you. Most of all, it takes time. Like Carrie Burtnick, our pharmacists take the time for you and your family. Visit one of our over 1,100 participating pharmacies today. We take the time to care, and caring is the most important part of healthcare.
Speed Stick 24/7 gives you proven non-stop protection. sweat and odor fighters, Speed Stick's always there when you need it the most. For as long as you need it. Speed Stick 24/7. It never quits.
Don't forget.
Gouda. 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 Gouda.
And what can I get you?
Havarti?
Okay, let's go. Come on, Grandma. Come on.
If life were like that, you wouldn't need a Visa card for airline tickets.
What's he doing? He's taking it back. I don't want mayonnaise. I want Miracle Whip. Oh. It has half the fat, and I prefer the taste. I got your Miracle Whip. Right here!
With the tangy zip you love and 50% less fat than mayonnaise, a sandwich just isn't a sandwich without Miracle Whip. Try Miracle Whip's new hot and spicy and Mustard Mania Squeeze.
$150,000 up for grabs at the Pharmacist Players Championship here in St. John's, including a first place check of $40,000. Jeff Stoughton capturing the Players Championship 1 year ago in Leduc, Alberta, as we return for end number 2 of our feature quarterfinal matchup involving Kevin Martin and Guy Hemmings, as Martin flanking end number 1 with his final rock.
They did a little bit of change up on the money breakdown this year. Each player, each team, when they got a win, they got $1,000, which helps coming out to the rock. It's a far way to come, isn't it?
Yeah, good point, Marilyn. Last year when Jeff Stoughton won this championship, he won $50,000 first. Well, that's $40,000 this year, but there's more money per win along the way.
Yep. Halfway.
Don Bartlett.
He's been a busy boy coming back home here. He's had lots of friends and families come out, fan favorites, always asking for his autograph. Of course, he knows this place pretty well. I'm sure he's been showing the boys around, too.
His mom and dad, Al and Joyce from Gander, are here this week as well, taking in the great curling.
It is difficult to arrive in the province of Newfoundland and not enjoy yourself.
The hospitality, the scenery is just absolutely spectacular.
Ness delivering this stone, and his teammates lovingly refer to him as Loch Ness from Scotland. He's a pretty big guy.
And he's been an all-star lead at 2 Canadian championships.
He played really well this morning in the tiebreaker against Brad Gushu. Really set up that final 8th end.
For a young player, he really has a fine touch, control of draw weight, and every time you watch him, he's always positioning the stones very well. 2 great leads in this game, and they really fight it out to try and get the advantage right from the start of the end.
Carter Rycroft really leading on that. Broom.
Oh, super shot, and he rolls covered right in the front ring.
There's not too many games that this Don Bartlett isn't into.
Shot.
And you see how well he throws the rock and asks his skip to sweep that over. You know he's into it.
Nearly makes the double right there, and a terrific roll in behind the corner guard.
Yep.
Pierre Charette with his first rock in end number 2.
With the classic flat foot slide. Gets the nip, and it looks like it's going to go right out. Yes, a nice double, although he rolls for a corner, so there is something there for Martin to work with.
I'm sure he'll ask Carter in this case to
You can keep your weight up a bit.
hit and try and roll behind that corner guard.
And our viewers might say, well, why wouldn't he go around the corner guard? And that's a good question, because that certainly would be a good shot here, too. Even if you leave it high, about half open, you might create a jam to this side one.
Well, get that out there and going a little bit.
Quarterfinal update for you on Sheet B involving
Pat Simmons and World Junior Champion from the past, John Morris. And Morris' team played a great first end. What a shot by Simmons to save it. Drove that straight back, and they're looking at the measure to see who has the shot stone, and it was John Morris.
John Morris with a steal of 1 in end number 1 and leads Pat Simmons of Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan.
Hemmings electing to come around this corner guard and get first in behind it. And usually a tricky play when you don't have hammer, because a lot of things can go wrong when the other team starts freezing down to you. And heavy with that is Charette, very experienced Pierre Charette with his draw weight, slides that one right through the rings.
Marilyn and Ed, early in a curling game, how soon will you get a real feel of how your team's going and how to strategize as far as the types of game and the types of rocks and situations you want to be in?
Well, the Grand Slammers are so used to practicing in 10-minute pre-practice before the game. They draw to the button for the hammer, so they've got to know weight right before they walk on the ice. This ice is so consistent to it. They know it. They know it in their sleep.
Yeah, I'd like to say, you know, if a team doesn't want to go on the offense, or they say, well, when are you going to finally get the feel of the ice? You've been here practicing for 3 or 4 days. You know, you get the practice for the game. The ice is absolutely perfect. So most teams like to just get at it right on the first end. And we saw that in the first end here. Kevin Martin was playing tap backs and freezes into the rings in the first end. He wasn't waiting to create some offense. You have to be able to build an end.
Martin Furlan.
Gets that sliding foot just a little bit past the midpoint of the stone, and so he has to flare it a little bit back.
And this rock looks like it has plenty of weight as well.
Now, for our viewers, that ice is full keen already, like hog to hog. It's 15 seconds, and looked like he was actually trying to tap that one up with the amount of weight he threw in. One of those times when you throw into a trap and miss.
Followed into the footsteps there of Pierre. That was hack weight. Won't be happy with that.
Anywhere behind that blue one.
Yeah.
Don Walchuk.
Quick, we can get there.
Will look to go around that corner guard with his first rock in end number 3, or make that end number 2.
And his team has a nickname for him. They call him Wallet. For years he's had that name. He was curled for Pat Ryan when they won the Brier in 1988 and 89. Perennial all-star, as you mentioned, Peter.
Good. Looks like lots of weight. T-line flush.
Now there's Don Bartlett again. As soon as Don Walchuk let that rock go, he is telling his skip exactly where that rock is, and he is not very far off. Always on the dime on that.
Slides 2 or 3 feet deeper than what they were searching for.
The Newfoundland flag. Nice little creative shot. To get us back to play.
It's all there.
That still looks like a lot of weight, and he's only playing the freeze, and after his last one, he really had to rely on the sweepers to help him out here.
Not a nice feeling when you see your sweepers backing right off. They're actually following the rock to get beside it.
And it's very easy to overthrow the weight on this ice. It's very, very keen, and any extra weight, you get a lot less curl, too. This is very weight sensitive.
John Morris, we showed you his steal of 1 against Pat Simmons. Jeff Stoughton, the defending champion, drew for 1 against Mark Noseworthy of St. John's in end number 1. And Glenn Despins with 1 versus Brad Height in the All-Saskatchewan matchup in end number 1 as they play in end number 2. Quarterfinal Saturday at the Players' Championship.
These are the best games to watch, the quarterfinals. Ed, you and I have experienced you know, throughout the Grand Slam, the 3 years, that these are the hottest games. Everyone comes here. They know they've got to play for the big dollars. It gets them into the semifinal. The purses just get bigger. So do the shot.
It sure is. Like in your big cash fields, your C qualifying games are usually tremendous games, and they're also your quarterfinals that we're seeing here.
Is it going to get by? Yes, it does.
I was trying to play the tick. Didn't have anything.
Martin looking to rub the guard and roll into the rings at the end because that one had overcurled from the hand of Don Walchuk.
Kevin Martin, a 3-time Players Champion.
Oui. Regarde le corner freeze. Regarde le corner freeze. Même si c'est c'est bon. Right?
Ouais, c'est parce qu'il peut donner. Ouais, ça va être au-dessus. Pas vu qu'on essaye 1-3, mettons, c'est pas
C'est bon, tu peux pas aller ce bord-là. Elle va aller à la même vitesse que le draw-off.
Actually, this end has been a pile of misses.
Yeah, a whole lot of misses, and all of them overweight. And then finally Donnie on that one looked like he was just tight on the broom. He didn't have bad weight.
Could still be on the beach somewhere.
The Mayan Riviera is not a bad place to be.
Newfoundland, Mayan
They're
Riviera.
all beautiful.
Absolutely.
Hemmings will have to be on the mark here. He can't afford to be, like you said, heavy once again and chip off and roll over in front of his own. And, you know, Kevin Martin would just love to throw it a double.
Key Hemmings with his first stone of end number 2.
He has struggled with his delivery this year, and on that rock, yeah, it was easy to see that his foot was quite a ways past the midpoint of the stone, and he was a little turned.
His shoulders were really turned there, Ed. But that's a Key Hemmings delivery.
Gotta go real hard, Dale. Real hard.
He will tap the Martin stone back and still lie one, but I don't think exactly what he was hoping for on that occasion either.
Good weight. Even if we roll out.
Yeah, it's not so bad. Make him make something good. Make him make something, yeah. You sure can't really do a lot of good by staying there? No. No, not really. We'd never be able to get that 7 out, eh? Is there any chance we'd be able to smoke that 7 out the front? Maybe.
I don't mind this, though.
Maybe. Maybe. That 2 might jam over there, too.
So, Ed, any chance that they can get rid of that number 7 rock?
Off in here and just
Well, I really think the shot here is to try and get that one out from behind the guard with soft weight. Martin has to hammer here, and he could spring a big end.
Not that tough a tap. Okay, another roll here. Okay.
What's bothering Kevin Martin is the first and second shot are behind the tee line, and it's always not a good spot for them to be, especially in this type of game.
Well, this really surprises me. Don't you think he could make a play with lightweight and move that rock from behind the guard, the one this third shot, and roll right in front of first shot stone?
Lined up.
I guess he's afraid of maybe moving his second shot stone there. He's playing the out turn here too.
Boards. Whoa.
Kevin Martin's first, the Players Champion in 94, 98, and the year 2000.
Then double. Clean. Oh. Whoa. Oh. Oh. Done. Hard. That's good. That's good.
Oh, that is a nice shot.
Fantastic weight.
Shot. No double there, eh? Nope.
Kevin Martin lying two.
Ouais, il va jammer sa bleue. In turn.
Ouais, pas bien le choix.
Faut quasiment que ça soit sur l'out, non? Si on veut qu'elle aille tout flat.
C'est le contraire.
OK.
C'est le contraire. Elle m'a mieux lancé un out, mais...
Well, this is just too tough an angle. It's just too flat to throw big weight and try and roll here. I would think they're just going to get in behind it rather than being able to nip out that other yellow one. And most definitely, I mean, this is the trouble rock to get out of there right there.
You want to throw it for us?
Guy Hemmings isn't well known for his big heavyweight like Kevin Martin is, so I don't think this shot is in his repertoire. Very low on that delivery. Very low.
He's throwing some good weight at it.
Only managed to nip it out and scare it out of the rings, and couldn't save your shooter.
Didn't work good this time.
A quarterfinal update from the All-Saskatchewan matchup involving Glenn Despens and Brad Height.
Well, I'm telling you, Brad Height, I just like the look in his eye in this tournament. He looks hungry enough to win. Got great sweeping front end here, and you see he's going to make a shot here and score a nice 3 points.
The hit for 3, and Brad Height taking control early of his quarterfinal matchup, leading it 3-1. The last rock of end number 2 for Kevin Martin.
Heavier than earlier. Be careful, Carter.
Has an opportunity to score the game's first deuce. And they work at it diligently.
Hard. It's really curling. It's got something under it.
Walter coming out to help. They're going to need to get close to the 4-foot ring.
Gotta go.
Got to drag that biscuit all the way to the 4-foot. And it does not get there.
Does not get there, as Kevin Martin will have to settle for 1 and end number 2. And
Missed
a little
opportunity.
Disappointed. Beautiful St. John's on the rock. Kevin Martin leads by 1 after 2.
Jason Portwando, weekends at 6:30 on Sportsnet News.
At M&M Meat Shops, we wanted our name to reflect more of what we offer.
Hello, M&M Meat, and hundreds of mouth-watering complete meals you can prepare quickly and easily to please a whole family shops. Can I help you?
But then again, why not just show you? Complete meals like New York strip loin with gourmet stuffed potato, stuffed turkey breast with farm fresh vegetable blend, and desserts like chocolate caramel pecan cheesecake. M&M Meat Shops, hundreds of meal ideas, one aisle.
Every day, you have to work at the things you love. It takes patience, motivation, and the support of those around you. Most of all, it takes time. Like Carrie Burtnick, our pharmacists take the time for you and your family. Visit one of our over 1,100 participating pharmacies today. We take the time to care, and caring is the most important part of healthcare.
I started playing when I was 5 years old. I wasn't as naturally gifted as some players, but I worked hard on my game. Like all Canadian kids, I dreamed of making it to the pros and one day winning the green jacket.
Look what I've got.
Yeah! Woo!
You can feel good about serving Swiss Chalet rotisserie chicken.
And for dessert.
And now Swiss Chalet's wholesome quarter chicken dinner comes with a blockbuster rent one, get one free coupon, all for just $7.99.
Hey guys, I'm home. Look what I've got.
Night shift tastes as good as Swiss Chalet.
The backyard has a fence. The playground has a fence. The ball field has a fence. Beyond the fences, new worlds are waiting. Go on. Pursue your passions. Go RVing. Call for a free brochure and visit an RV dealer.
They sweep the Yankees in a 4-game series in the Bronx. The first time they've done that.
We look back to the 2003 National in Humboldt. Pierre Charette skipping his team to the title with a victory over Glenn Howard. And on that day, the $25,000 first place check. All the champions in the last 3 years. Tremendous names, tremendous fields, and some great curling. Pierre Charette was a winner of that event back in 2003 at the Uniplex, or the newly named Elgar Peterson Arena in Humboldt, Saskatchewan.
We've always had great events like Humboldt last year, Prince Albert this year. Top competition, great curling, and we've met a lot of curling fans across Canada, and they love the slams.
They sure do.
1-0. Kevin Martin leads. Attempted to draw for 2 with his last rock event, number 2, and they said the final rock picked, and it did not make it to where it needed to be for a deuce.
Across the 4-foot line.
Yeah, that draw looked like it was in trouble early. It curled fairly early out of Kevin's hands, and sweepers just couldn't drag it all the way.
Very well.
Time for one of our neat little features. We call it Rock Talk, and we welcome Guy Hemmings, who joins us now. And Guy, I guess my first question for you is just your impressions of the game's first 2 ends.
Well, I think we're a bit of some kind of a big break in the last end. We play a pretty bad end altogether, all the 4 of us, and we've got some break, and we're looking at a 2 or 3 against us and get away with a only 1. So, you know, to win some curling games, sometimes you need to have some break, and we had a pretty big one on that one.
Wait. Nice shot, Don.
So the shot from 44-year-old Don Bartlett. I tried to make him a little younger earlier in the show at 41. But he did turn 44 on the 1st of April, and they had a large celebration for him here in his home province.
J'aime pas frapper l'autre, non? Pas bien. Essaye de rouler le bord là, là-bas. Là.
Okay.
On the outside of the yellow, you roll there, be good.
This is the first ever meeting between Hemmings and Martin as far as a Grand Slam event game is concerned. Of course, they've met in other events over the years.
They played in the Skins final, Sportsnet Skins final 2 years ago with Martin coming out on top, and they did play in Gander this year as well. Martin winning that one. Guy, just wanted to talk to you about the junior. You had a junior clinic here on Tuesday.
Yeah, obviously. It was just before I had a chance to practice. I got about over 200 kids here, I heard. I don't know, I didn't count them myself, but they seem to have fun. I think it's really important that we spend time with the kids. That's what I do with the Canadian Curling Association. I've been working for them for 3 years and promoting curling and giving junior clinics. So when they asked me if I'd be willing to give them my time here, it was an easy decision for me to be here, and it was a good time once again.
What do you like? Walmart.
Martin's team rubbing that one into the rings and giving a Charette here a chance
On est jaune, Guy. On est jaune.
Okay.
To get some more rocks in the rings and build it in.
C'est rare qu'on a 3 à la maison, hein?
Even Kevin Martin offering a little assistance with this shot.
I think he just got a little confused there about what color rock he was.
Okay.
But rock talk can do that to you.
You can't afford to forget what color you're shooting.
No, it shows up on the scoreboard pretty quick.
Yes.
This is an intern that looked ugly when he left it.
Looking for the hit and roll. And it rolls over.
You've always been a great crowd favorite in here. You've had some competition this weekend, haven't you?
Yeah, this morning we played. Actually, it's happened twice this week. Last weekend we were playing in Quebec, and during the World Junior Championship, we would play a game against Marie-France Larouche for fun to help to raise money for the junior, and the crowd were cheering for her more than for us. So there was a big difference. And even today, this morning, we played against Brad Gouchou here, and we didn't have much of the crowd. We still have a good share, but most of the people were cheering for Newfoundland, so which is normal. But Brad's a good guy and a good curler, and he's the future of our game. So it's normal to get lots of fan support.
It's your name. Line's good. Easy. Yep. Hard. Come on, guy. Come on. Right up. Whoa. No. Whoa.
Charette with the hit and rolls over onto the center line. Guy, one question for you as well. What's it like to be back with Mr. Charette again this year?
Yeah, it was something we talked about over the last summer, and we decided to give it a try. We know we had a couple of good years together, 98, 99, obviously, and we decided to try it. It didn't work out as good as we expected. Obviously, we didn't win lots of money, and we didn't even win our province to get to the bar. But it's always good to play with a guy with so much experience, and he's a good friend of mine, and we had a good time. Not as much on the ice as we were expected, but lots of good time off the ice. So we can't forget that it's a game, and you play to have fun, and we had a good year no matter what.
Carter Rycroft, the hit and the roll, was hoping to stay behind to cover, but it comes out open.
Hemmings electing to play the takeout, hit and stay. Could also just tap this rock back.
Stay with it.
He has the hammer. He could tap it back and try and use it as protection.
Whoa. Good shot. Call, Guy.
Guy, are you surprised that Kevin Martin hasn't been throwing the corner guards out? I mean, it seems like a very simple game so far to me.
Yeah, I don't know what he's thinking. You got to ask him yourself. But for ourselves, we try to keep it a bit more simple. Those guys are strong all the way through, and it's tough to beat them. And we try to keep it a bit more simple and take our chance, keep them in close, and maybe being able to pull a couple of boots and surprise them. And, it's tough. We don't want to leave him in the long race takeout and stuff like this, because you know how good he is to do those kind of shots. So we try to be a bit more careful than would be usually against anybody else. But as far as he is concerned, what is planning, you'll have to ask him yourself.
All the way. Guy, thanks so much for joining us. We'll let you concentrate on the task at hand, and thanks again for this on Rock Talk.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Guy Hemmings, one of the showmen of curling, and without a doubt, I think it's fair to say one of the most popular players maybe in history. Always a fan favorite wherever he goes.
No, that would be Ed Lukowicz. That'd be Ed Lukowicz.
Well, he'd be number one, of course.
It's always such a pleasure to talk to Guy. And guys like Pierre Charette as well. They always come up with some pretty unique ideas about how they play the game and things that they do.
They see and know the game in a different angle than most people do, and that's what makes it so good.
Nice shot by Martin Ferland as he's able to drive it back and not drive it on his own to lie to. Time for a quarterfinal update. Once again, we focus in on Pat Simmons and John Morris.
Now, this has been a really tough game so far with a lot of rocks in play. And Simmons made a great raise in the first in, didn't quite get the shot he was looking for. Plays here and just goes past that one, so it's a steal of 2 for John Morris as he jumps into an early 3-0 lead. The world junior champion ahead in that game.
John Morris curling out of Calgary this year. And in the driver's seat early, leading 3-0. Kevin Martin's first of in number 3, leading at 3-0. Or make that 1-0.
All the way. I don't know if Kevin's ever made a double before in his life. Oh, he's made another one.
Routine.
Well, with Kevin Martin, it never gets boring. As we said, we know what kind of weight he can throw. Guy Hemmings would love to steal some of this into his game.
I was talking with Kevin Martin yesterday, and he happened to remember a game back in Lloydminster a long time ago, shortly after he was world junior champion in Canada, where he beat me for the first time, and he still remembered some of the exact shots and ways he did it. I said, darn, that was... Once you get behind a guy like him, it's tough to catch him.
Kevin Martin has fond memories of St. John's, Newfoundland, because he captured a Canadian junior title
Like
in
lots
this
from here,
city.
Wales. Yeah, it is lots.
Well, there's a good history to St. John's, and if you go back way to 1972, Ors Melischuk won the Canadian Brier
Go
here
ahead.
and went on to
I
won the
dummy
Worlds
no
in
more.
72, and it was that old
Hold
Boots
up.
Labonte thing
Hold
where the
up.
U.S. guy, Boots Labonte, kicked a
Shot,
rock to
shot.
beat Melischuk, and then there was the curse of Labonte all
Curse.
the way through the 70s.
Absolutely. Of course, we have Sue Ann Bartlett, one of the premier curlers here in Newfoundland on the Rock, now living in Nova Scotia. She represented this wonderful province, 13, 12 times at Scott Turner of Hearts Canadian Championship.
Jack McDuff in 1976.
There's a story. Those boots are still bronze and in the curling club.
I bet they are. When he captured the Brier title.
Just clean.
Well, one of the best games I ever saw between these two teams was in the Montreal Open one year where Martin led it by 6 points. And Guy came back with a 3 and a 3 to tie it up, and Martin won it in an extra end, but that was a tremendous match.
And Guy Hemmings will have an opportunity to hit and blank end number 3. Quarterfinal Saturday at the Pharmacist Players Championship.
Ed, it's been a pretty wide open game.
Yeah, I think we'll get some action going here pretty quick, though.
The last rock in end number 3. Wants to hit and roll out to blank the end. But will he? Yes, he does. 1-0. Kevin Martin continues to lead after the blank in end number 3 as we check in on sheet D in a quarterfinal update involving the defending champion, Jeff Stoughton, who's battling the local favorite, Mark Noseworthy.
And Stoughton has got a 5-0 record coming into this game. He's undefeated so far. And this year, when he's qualified into the playoffs and the Grand Slams, he's qualified through A twice and then won 5 in a row here. So he's undefeated when going into the playoffs. Mark Noseworthy here, the big hometown favorite. He's played fantastic. Looking at 3 shots here, though, Stoughton, so Noseworthy has to be right on the button to take home one. He slides just a little bit too far. Jonathan Meade sweeping that one back, and
Jonathan Meade took it far enough. It is indeed a steal, and Jeff Stoughton leads 2-0 in his quarterfinal. Mile 1 Stadium. It's the quarterfinals of the Pharmacist Players Championship.
It's not about the money, the glory, or stepping up to the podium knowing you're number 1. It's about taking the time to do your best. Like Kevin Martin, our pharmacists take the time. Time to care for you and your family. And caring is the most important part of healthcare. Talk to your local pharmacist at one of these fine stores.
At M&M Meat Shops, we wanted our name to reflect more of what we offer.
Hello, M&M Meat, and hundreds of mouth-watering complete meals you can prepare quickly and easily to please a whole family shops. Can I help you?
But then again, why not just show you? Complete meals like New York strip loin with gourmet stuffed potato, stuffed turkey breast with farm fresh vegetable blend, and desserts like chocolate caramel pecan cheesecake. M&M Meat Shops, hundreds of meal ideas, one aisle.
It features a V8 engine. It seats 8 passengers. And it charts a new course for the luxury SUV.
Finished.
Wow, that only took you 3 years?
Funny. Hey, want to go for a drive?
I thought we were going for a drive. They don't still do that, do they?
Nope.
But you know, I still have to be home by 10.
What's the right moment? Being able to respond to your partner when you want to might be the difference between an awkward moment and the right moment. If you suffer from erectile dysfunction, a variety of treatments are available. Ask your doctor which treatment options are appropriate for you, or call 1-866-6BE-READY for a free brochure. When the moment is right, will you be ready?
The Pharmacist Grand Slam of Curling, presented by M&M Meat Shops. A look at sensational Signal Hill in St. John's, Newfoundland. I believe a gentleman by the name of Marconi, with a very special message sent from that very tower right there. The first one across the Atlantic. As we check in on our quarterfinal matchups, John Morris leading Pat Simmons 3-0. Mark Noseworthy trailing the favorite and defending champ Jeffrey Stoughton 2-0 in the fourth, and Brad Height of Kerrobert leading Glenn Despens 4-1 in end number 4. As we welcome you back inside Mile 1 Stadium. What a great facility it is here in St. John's.
One of the best facilities we've been in, and I just love hearing that music.
And it's a big thing for the tour, because this is the biggest building that the tour has played in, 6,000, and it's almost full here today. A lot of fans, and it's a great partnership for the World Curling Tour now going into a building like Mile 1 Stadium and working together with them.
Yeah, good shot. Good.
Nearly making the double right there.
More offense this end is Kevin Martin leading this 1-0. Without the hammer is going for the steal.
Carter Rycroft skipped Alberta to a provincial title back in 1998.
For line.
Line's good.
Lots of room.
Tight guard, tight guard.
Lots
tight
of room.
guard. Yeah, 3-4 feet, something like that. Right here.
Finish.
Right here.
How's the line?
Real nice.
Come on, let's go.
Got to get over center a bit. Hard.
Come on, let's go. Get inside. Come on.
Hard. Can't leave a hole. Good.
Sweeping it up for the guard. Bartlett right to the end.
Let's compare the numbers of the 2 seconds, brought to you by M&M Meat Shops.
Pierre Charette is running away with it right now, and I don't really remember Carter making any real bad misses. A couple of rollouts and stuff like that. And, you know, I don't know if it's that much different at this stage.
71%.
Whoa!
Pierre has struggled with his weight a little bit in this game, and you know, with the 4-rock rule and Grand Slam and great ice like this, you have to have draw weight.
Charette trying the double.
And 2 long big doubles he's made.
And that's the kind of shot you'd like to see on a scoring system. I would give him like a 5 out of 4 on that, some bonus points.
Well, he may be struggling on his draw weight, but he certainly isn't struggling on these long raised back doubles or raised back takeouts. Great shot by Pierre.
And Kevin Martin viewing this rock belonging to Hemmings right next to the ring is a problem stone, so in the control area right in front of the rings. So he'll make a play on it.
Thanks to the blanket in number 3. Hemmings with last rock.
Shot.
In end number 4. Carter Rycroft exits the troublesome rock. Knocks it out of play.
Likewise, Guy views that as an area that he has to control, so he's going to make a play to tap that out with light board weight.
Pierre Charette may have struggled with some weight earlier today, but as far as getting this field down to 8, I don't know if any curler understood the tie-breaking formulas any better than Pierre Charette here last night.
Oh,
we had a lot of fun trying to break that all down.
Well, he's a golfer, you see, and they are used to counting up points and making sure that they know exactly where they are. And he brought this sheet of paper out, and he had every scenario worked out in the immediate bench.
He did indeed. I was very impressed with how he had it all broken down from records to head to the shootout situation, which is another tie-breaking criteria used here.
I was just completely confused.
Well, it's not like our other slams during the year where we played the triple knockout. This one, there's 3 pools, and then you got to decide, you know, how do you get those teams into the final 8?
Don Walchuk.
Hard line. How's the weight?
Weight's good. Here's the calls we're used to, Kevin Martin. Putting the broom down, and
back 4,
you got
back
3
8.
of the opposition rocks out
Three
front.
potatoes.
He's calling the come round here.
There have been rumors flying about this team like crazy for the last 3 weeks or so. Don Walchuk perhaps leaving this team and maybe joining up with another skip for next year.
We go in first.
Quarterfinal update. Sheet B, and again we look in on Pat Morris or make that Pat Simmons and John Morris. Simmons already in difficulty, trailing 3-0 and facing, as you take a look at 4.
This is what you call a pressure shot, down 3-0, and you have to save the game now and keep it going. Looking at 4 counters.
Have a look.
One very close to the button. It looks like he's just drawing cold.
Really begging his sweepers to back off.
No backing so far for this rock.
You have to trust your sweepers, believe in them, and know that you can make these shots.
It looks like he made it for 1. What a pressure shot.
It could be lights out if he doesn't make that shot. But Pat Simmons comes through to stay alive, and Morris back in control with the hammer in the next end.
Guards out in front of the rings, and 2 stones in the back 8-foot and 12-foot. Hemmings was shot stone. And you like the setup you see in front of the rings here with Hemmings throwing the blue stones, and he has 3 blues in front. Certainly he'll be able to promote one or more of those stones late in the end.
Room. Line's good. Room. 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 Line's good. Room. Room. Wall there. Whoa. 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 Coming down. Coming down. Whoa. Yeah, gotta go. Shot.
Trying to freeze to the Hemmings stone, and does so nicely. Don Walchuk with a nice shot with his last in end number 4.
Well, Ed, you alluded to the big rumor that's been flying around since a couple of weeks ago. Kevin Martin maybe looking for a new third. Not sure if it's true or not.
Yeah, the team is very tight-lipped about it. They won't talk about it right now because, you know, I guess the rumors have been flying around like crazy, so they just don't want to discuss it. Just they'll finish the year off and then look to see what happens over the summer.
Martin Furlan.
Wanted to keep this one high and buried behind the guard.
And it comes to sit in the 4-foot. The Toronto Blue Jays season opener against the Detroit Tigers. Vernon Wells and company will have it all for you opening day right here on Rogers Sportsnet. An interesting 4th end developing.
Well, these are the types of shots that we're used to seeing Kevin Martin call, make. Calling a tough shot, though, coming through the port here.
Wait, finishes. Line's big.
Line is really crucial on this shot.
His turn. He's going the other way. The play has been on the in-turn. He's decided to come from the button side. Try to get shot stoned that way.
Kevin Martin has qualified for 9 of the 11 Grand Slam events that he has participated in.
Line's perfect.
Hard line. Last year at this time, he was on fire. He had won the first 7 spiels of the year.
We're there. We're there for weight.
He was on a roll.
Line's perfect.
And it was scaring them.
Easy, easy.
With Don Walchuk saying, easy. Can you believe it? I said, don't question it. Just take it.
Shot.
And how good is that?
Well, they'll be keeping that one. They won't be throwing that away.
Quarterfinal update to sheet D. Mark Noseworthy's last rock versus Jeff Stout.
He trails it 2-0 in the fourth end. And he, like Simmons, has to make a good shot here to stay in the game.
And if he makes this shot, you'll hear the crowd really give him a big hand.
And he drives to the button.
That's a great feeling. Playing in your own hometown.
It has to be a wonderful feeling to be in front of your hometown fans, especially when you're playing well.
And he has owned his rock. He has played exceptionally well.
How big a surprise is it for both of you to see Mr. Noseworthy advancing to this point in this event?
I don't think so. When you look at the Briars he's played in the past, boy, he's really handled the top teams well, and he's been in a Briar semifinal before. So I think the tougher the field, the better Mark Noseworthy plays.
Mark has a very laid-back attitude, too, and he just wanted to come out here and put a good show on for his club and his fans, and he's done so.
Guy Hemmings trying the raise, but it angles past and will leave Kevin Martin lying one, and I'm sure he'll try and play a guard to protect his counter.
Kevin wants to make sure this guard is tight.
Yellow.
Well, yeah. Kevin playing this guard on the end turn, and he would like to just bring this one here into this area just in front of the rings like there. And if anything, he wants to leave the opening for Guy Hemmings on the other side. He doesn't mind leaving this side here. That's a little tough for Hemmings, and Hemmings wouldn't be able to get two if he's coming that way.
Yep, that's good. Trying to throw it in top 12. Guys, you gave me 8 for mine. I went up 12.
Kevin Martin with one in end number 2 to lead 1-0, and maybe an opportunity if he puts this guard exactly where he'd like it to steal here in end number 4 in this quarterfinal.
Get it up there near the house. We're not in the rings. Just a guard.
Bartlett in charge of the weight.
Oh, just clean to stop.
Line is extremely important. You want it, as you said, Ed, on the other side of the rock.
Got it fully buried and might have left about an inch on that outturn side, so it's a good safety.
Here's a look at skip numbers through 3 ends presented by M&M Meat Shops.
But Martin, 83%. I mean, we're so hard on this player. We expect him to play in the 90s all the time. And, you know, when he comes up with a good game at 83, we think, oh, Lord. Guy Hemmings playing a very good game also.
Il peut pas drawer shot. Si je vois là-dessus, je suis pas shot. Si je vois... Non. Non, pas il était ça du trou.
Ah, mais la bleue, même si on rase la bleue, on s'en va sur le nez de la jaune. Quoi? Même si on passe bien proche de ce bleu-là, on s'en va sur le nez de la jaune quasiment.
Bon, mettons, on sera back.
Ouais, sur le nez de la jaune, tu peux pas être shot.
Non, non.
C'est ça que je te dis? OK. Essayez ça. Je pense que oui. Go, Guy, fallait.
Je sais bien.
Moitié.
Avec quel weight? Dans du weight?
C'est ça d'essayer glide.
Dans la pratique, j'ai pris le coin du 12, j'ai curlé jusqu'au 4, fait que d'après moi, elle curl comme normal.
OK, glide, moi, je dirais... Pogner à moitié, c'est-à-dire qu'il faut pogner là. Ou je dirais à peu près ça, c'est des glides. Comme Martin qui s'y a donné là-bas. Quand tu as demandé light, mettons, qu'on a resté, là.
Ouais, un curl à peu près de ça, mettons.
Il venait à frapper ce bord-là un peu.
Ou qu'on frapper à moitié.
Oui. Moi, je donne un petit peu plus que ça de bord.
Could be a risky shot, Ed.
Could take his own out.
Could be the pile of yellow.
Remember earlier in the year where Kerry Burtnick played one like this? He was trailing against Dave Boehmer 5-0, and Kerry threw one like this, and it was a tougher situation, and he picked his own, and Boehmer stole 5
give up one here.
to go up 10-1.
2, I mean. Light, I guess. Could get 2, too. Yeah.
Could be unlucky and drive it in the blue, but...
Those are shots Kerry chooses to forget.
Guy Hemmings with the last rock in end number 4.
I like the call. He doesn't really have too much choice here.
He is playing quiet weight. He's not going to do a lot of damage, but he might get the 2.
Gave himself a lot of ice here.
Trying the angle raise.
All about angle.
Oh, was that close?
Not quite.
Very close.
Kevin Martin, a steal of 1. He leads Guy Hemmings 2-0 here at the Pharmacist Players Championship.
At M&M Meat Shops, we wanted our name to reflect more of what we offer.
Hello, M&M Meat, and hundreds of mouth-watering complete meals you can prepare quickly and easily to please a whole family shops. Can I help you?
But then again, why not just show you? Complete meals like New York strip loin with gourmet stuffed potato, stuffed turkey breast with farm fresh vegetable blend, and desserts like chocolate caramel pecan cheesecake. M&M Meat Shops, hundreds of meal ideas, one aisle.
It's not about the money, the glory, or stepping up to the podium knowing you're number one. It's about taking the time to do your best. Like Kevin Martin, our pharmacists take the time. Time to care for you and your family. And caring is the most important part of healthcare. Talk to your local pharmacist at one of these fine stores.
It features a V8 engine. It seats 8 passengers. And it charts a new course for the luxury SUV.
Oh,
Le jour s'en ira, écoute-moi, calque-les-eaux. Maneggio picchia, pochia. Io vegi senza esclusione. Nuova età, ma melantiti, diganantoni. Nostra, violaria, I did it my way.
We showed you Signal Hill earlier. Here's the view from Signal Hill, looking over St. John's Harbor in St. John's, Newfoundland, the home of the Pharmacist Players Championship. Quarterfinal Saturday afternoon. John Morris leading Pat Simmons 3-1 in the fourth. Glenn Desmond has come back with a deuce and trails Brad Height now 4-3 in the fifth. And Jeff Stoughton leading Mark Noseworthy of St. John's 2-1 in end number 5 as we get you back to our feature matchup involving Guy Hemmings and Kevin Martin.
Well, that last shot we saw of Hemmings in that end, that's sort of been the way his year has gone. He just misses those angle raises just ever so slightly, and it costs him, though. And
here I come.
But early in the game here, it's only a 2-0 lead for Kevin Martin at this stage, so a lot of game to go.
Team Hemmings with a record in 2003, 2004 in Grand Slam events of 5-9 in comparison to Kevin Martin and company. Their record 10-5 in the first 3 events of the year. And of course, adding to that record with round robin play so far in this event.
More of a traditional type of end going here now, where Bartlett placed the first one in the rings. Hemmings is throwing the corner.
A little tight. Yep, Hard's got some. Yeah. Well.
Now Bartlett playing the guard, but this picked something up early, so if it overcurls the center line, it could be another corner guard for Hemmings.
All the way. Hard, come on, come on, come on. Come on. Come on, keep her coming, keep her coming. I'm trying to block this hole.
Well, it was heavy, eh? So.
just to look at
I wanna
how
just tap it back
Guy
there.
Hemmings has fared on the World Curling
Light.
Tour this year,
Green
not
light.
just the slam
Back
events,
ring.
but the entire tour
Back
itself.
ring.
They've really struggled in the money department, and you know, putting 4 curlers together, a strong personality of Pierre Charette takes some work, it takes some time. I think they've been fairly patient with themselves, and you know, being in the quarterfinals here at the Players' Championship is not a bad place to be.
And they advance to the Masters of Curling quarterfinals in Sudbury before losing to Jeff Stoughton. Dale Ness delivering.
Well, his quarterfinal record is 1 and 2, but for Hemmings himself, this is the 4th time that he's played in the Tour Championship. Well, that one got away from them, and a back-to-back bad shots.
I don't know what's going on down there.
One thing that happens in this arena, and you know, we're just here in our shirt sleeves. It's so warm in the
here.
arena that although the ice is wonderful, the ice surface can be a little bit soft, and you can easily get those picks.
Handprints are a huge factor on this kind of ice. You have to be very careful. Players really have to be conscious about it.
And also, this ice is very susceptible to gripper marks. If anybody has a bit of a soft gripper on their shoe, it will really mark up on this ice while they are sweeping.
You have to have good equipment. You have to have new equipment. Curlers are not as good as they should be in updating their equipment.
Well, particularly in this kind of ice, too. If you're curling in a curling club or an arena where it's very, very cold, your ice surface is going to stand up a lot better.
It's going to overcurl if anything.
But really, kudos to Mark Schurig.
Yeah.
This ice has really held the sliding path real well. It hasn't flattened out that much, so we're generally getting pretty keen ice for the entire 10 ends, even in the sliding track area. There's Mark.
Watching his ice.
We got him on air. And he made the ice this year at the U.S. Nationals in Grand Forks. Always makes the ice the last couple of years at the Saskatchewan Provincial. So he's a busy ice maker. He's from the East St. Paul Curling Club in Winnipeg.
Flipper la note dedans? Hein? On peut-tu flipper la note dedans?
Ouais, si t'as pogné bien mince.
Pogne quoi?
Prends un light take-out.
À moitié?
Ça prend la moitié d'une 3/4 de celle-là, tu vas flipper celle-là. Light.
Light.
Pierre Charette. I'm not sure if he has his mind on golf season quite yet, but he is a golf pro.
I mentioned earlier in the broadcast that he's played every position at the Brier, and because he's so involved in the strategy of the team, I always jokingly say to him that, you know, you're Pierre, you're the only guy in the history of the Brier to skip from all 4 positions.
And he has no problem with that.
Well, he's got a future in tiebreakers, I can tell you that, if this curling or golf doesn't work out very well for him.
Well, his nickname is Duffer.
Works out of the Royal Papineau Curling Club.
Same or more.
He's the golf pro.
Line might be a little tighter.
Carter Rycroft.
Oh, we're short. We're short of the blue one. Yeah, it's going to overcurl this time. Clean to finish. Clean to finish. We don't really want to give him this raise if we can help it.
Asked to throw up another guard.
Talked with Kevin Martin before the game about, you know, the way they do their pullback delivery, both him and Carter. And he said when Carter came to the team, they changed his delivery a little bit. Because he used to pull back to the toe, but now they got him pulling back a little bit more to the center for more power.
Quarterfinal update. We keep you abreast of the other 3 matchups going on. John Morris, Pat Simmons. It's the last rock.
He has the lead in this game, but John Morris in trouble in this end against Simmons, but he makes his last shot, taps it back for 1, and he has control in that game now by a score of 4-1.
The former Brier finalist and World Junior Curling Champion, John Morris.
With his new Alberta team.
Performing out of Calgary this season. Pierre Charette.
Long back raise again.
Take that. Nice shot. Changed the situation around 100%.
Well, they left it for him. Carter had the opportunity to put the guard up and
Therein lies the
overcurled.
difficulty of the shot.
Leave an opening, they'll make them.
Lucky for them, though, they have a guy by the name of Don Walchuk in the hack. And
when he's right, does anybody in this game throw better big weight shots than Don Walchuk?
Well, maybe Kevin Martin. So how do you like to face those 4 rocks in a row?
How do you like that double for your double? Thank you very much. By Don Walchuk, who makes no mistake on his offering.
Well, the incredible thing about that is your angle up top on those rocks is just like a 16th or 100th of an inch. Makes a difference, so it really has to be thrown and called precisely.
Not playing pool.
These guys are good.
Throw it hard and be close.
Yes, they most certainly are.
Monty, le weight just bon pour du cabaret.
That's the difference between these two teams, Martin and Hemmings. Hemmings tends to throw that softer, quieter weight. Walchuk, Martin just let her rip.
Line's tight a bit.
And here's one of those quieter weight shots from Martin Furland, who's very intent upon watching the Rocks course.
The ice very keen here, even by the boards.
Great line. Whoa! Just
Ice is keen, slides very nicely. It's clipped all the way out there by ice maker Mark Shurik, so it runs nicely. You can play those shots from the wings.
It comes to rest at the
Yeah, well, even here.
top of the 8-foot.
Pretty much totally buried.
Just through.
Well, I consider this a tough shot because the teams don't very often play. You know, usually during the game, they're always playing towards the middle, always going around center guards. All of a sudden here, you got to play towards the side, and this shot isn't thrown a whole lot during the game.
Well, it's a test to see how great this ice is, because when you call ice and you can throw it well, you're going to make a shot. As you said before, Ed, it's all about weight. Very weight sensitive.
Very weight sensitive, this ice. You just pick your weight up a little bit, and it'll go through the curl.
Just going to catch the guard.
Rubs on the guard.
Little kiss, but not a good kiss.
Well, and you heard it, Kevin Martin just saying too much weight.
Quarterfinal update from Sheet D. And that means Jeff Stoughton and Mark Noseworthy. Stoughton with last rock.
Early in this end, Stoughton was counting 3 and had a chance for the ability to set up the big end.
Noseworthy team came through with a triple on them.
But still it's 3.
Jeff Stoughton with a draw for 3, and the defending Players champion in command, leading Mark Noseworthy 5-1. And Jeff Stoughton is the only unbeaten rank in this competition. He entered the quarterfinals with a perfect record of 5-0 through round-robin play.
Well, they had 2 goals coming into the Players Championship. One was to get their Olympic spot. Done that. Second one was to defend their title here. And they're on a good route map for it.
And they've had a fantastic year in total, Jeff Stoughton and company.
That doesn't help. Well, it's good for now.
Kevin Martin assessing his situation. About to throw his first
tough
rock.
Shot.
The blue shot stone is behind a long guard in front of the ring.
That's buried.
Not easy to get to.
Give up 4 in a heartbeat.
Quarterfinal update. Over to Sheet E. Brad Height leading Glenn Despens by a count of 4-3.
Well, they've had lots of discussions throughout this whole end. Back and forth. Control of the front. Brad Height making a draw here.
Brad Height, the runner-up in the Saskatchewan Brier Playdowns this year. To Bruce Cordy.
The draw for a pair for the product of Kerr Roberts, Saskatchewan, Brad Height, and he leads a fellow Saskatchewan curler 6-3.
That must make you feel good there, Peter. All your Saskatchewan teams out there. Three out of the 8.
It was very nice today before the start of this draw to have a visit with the likes of Brad Height and Glenn Despens and Rod Montgomery, and Kind of takes me back to the days where I was lucky enough to cover 3 or 4 provincial tankards back in Saskatchewan, including one in your hometown of North Battleford, Mr. Lipkow.
Hard.
Another
Really
big
hard.
shot here by Kevin Martin. He needs to get out of trouble here.
Okay.
Great call, great shot.
Double raise, he manages to waste the one at the top ring. And Kevin mentioned that, you know, he didn't want to play anything too tricky in that end. With lightweight, he might all of a sudden give up a big end.
Was fearful that if he didn't throw that rock the way he would have liked to, that he might set up Hemmings for a 3 or 4 ender.
Well, he's still looking at giving up 2 in this end, but he can afford a little bit.
Martin est reviré loin.
Ouais, mais il y avait une pierre.
In number 5, Kevin Martin with a 2-0 advantage.
Ça va être bon ici.
Ouais, un peu plus. Faut qu'on passe. C'est pas vrai qu'il cache un coin, tu sais.
OK.
Début de semaine, mettons.
Hemmings with hammer here and end in number 5.
Guy Hemmings playing the out-turn draw, trying to go wide and draw one right in behind that center yellow. And the beauty of this ice is you get a lot of finish at the end, so you can get a long way out there and then wait for it to break and just sweep it past there and get buried.
Buried is important in here, but it doesn't have to be behind the tee line. Would give Kevin Martin an out.
Line's good. Have a look. It's like lots from here.
Line's tight.
Line's getting tight, though. Yep. Have to
The
go.
line is real tight. You're going to have to go just to get it by the top stone.
Come on, play hard.
Whoa.
Oh, he was on the broom. Said I have enough ice, I guess.
Not what Guy Hemmings was hoping for in that situation at all.
Well, there was no panic when he let it go. He said line was good. Now you hear Pierre say not enough ice.
It was a shot, too, that they did not have to be real tight to the top one.
Well, his weight
Now what
was
do we
light,
do?
too.
Make this double.
Was not T-line weight.
Good, yeah.
What do you think? What's your first? I don't really know what to do here, you guys.
Well, it looks like it's going to be a decision by committee.
The lodge?
Yeah.
I'm just thinking if we bump ours right on the nose, then he can only get...
Well, he plays the angle razor, too. We don't shoot now like this, too, right? That's
Okay,
good. Which would have been really good a few minutes ago, right?
Okay, then if we throw stars...
Why not play the double?
They might jam, though. I'm worried about hitting it a hair thick and jamming on the back over there, giving them 3 again. That would suck.
I like tapping. You want to split it?
Well, split it. I don't think we can lay 2. I don't think we can split it. That's the problem. I don't think we can.
If you hit it thin enough, I think you can, Kevin. Tap it thin enough.
Yeah, like if you put it there.
Yeah, how do I get it there? I can't get it there.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm just saying.
I can't get it there with the in turn. Probably can't get it there with the out turn. Probably go to here.
Why don't you go here? You want to go here? Draw around here?
Yeah, but then you're bringing 3 in play again if we wreck on that. They're really bad. Remember the last 2 they've thrown have gone sideways. You know, we can go here.
Or wherever. Take enough ice. Go here. But we don't have to play it that tight.
I like this. Because really, if we don't shoot, he actually has to roll this way if we don't even shoot. If we can stay out here, if we bury too much, he's got a pretty easy double. You like that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Didn't expect to have to think about all this stuff.
Sounds reasonable to me.
Well, this is interesting stuff, you know. They're a little bit wary of giving away 2 or 3 here. The theory kind of in curling, though, is that even though you're worried about what the other guy might do, the best way to deal with that is to make your shot.
Exactly.
I mean, the cure is not to miss your shot. You know, and then to try to make it better.
We always said the best shot made was, or best shot called was the best shot made.
They have to sweep it early to hold the line because there have been rocks taking off. A bit more. Ice is a little soft.
He's given himself a lot of ice because of Guy Hemmings' last shot.
Line's good, guys. Looks heavy.
How much handle?
Looks a little
Bartlett
heavy,
and Carter
looks heavy.
nursing this one along.
It's coming down. It's curling more than we wanted.
He said he did not want to set up a double.
That really curled big time at the end.
Well, it's in there for shot rock, and it's back a bit, but it over curled and made the double easier.
A long ways. He gets a little roll, eh? He's got.
Yeah. Nose it, t'es bon parce que t'es déjà dans le blanc.
Ouais, elle va avancer.
Elle va avancer. Ouais, elle va avancer tout.
Bon, mais elle avancera pas de ça, là.
Je pense qu'il est pas là.
Je veux faire la voir ça. Je pense qu'il est pas là.
Moi, je pense qu'il est pas là pour deux.
Sans rouler.
Faut que tu roules ici. Tu roules ici. Et pour rouler là, faut que tu frappes vraiment juste off-nose avec ben du weight.
Il peut le faire ici avec glide. Le faire aïe. Faire ici avec glide, il
tu vas pousser le type.
Non, light, il faut que je pogne de moitié.
Ça marche pas.
Ouais.
C'est ça, ben on le suit sur l'alter.
Make the double. Do you score two, though, Ed?
Yeah, you're probably not deep enough into the 8-foot to beat out that one on the side at 3 o'clock.
Normal, juste off-nose, on va flipper un peu, puis d'abord le clip sit. C'est parce que nose it, on la manque, là, tu sais.
Nose it, on la manque?
Ouais, tu sais, perfect nose, on la manque. Il faut le pogner un peu high side.
Ouais, si tu viens un peu de intern, d'après moi, tu vas spinner, là.
Ouais.
Peut-être, là, Guy.
Tu sais, c'est pas bien high side, là. Non.
Ça vient de ce tour-là, tu nous as déjà nose it.
Ouais, je sais.
Où est-ce qu'elle va avancer, c'est normal?
Shred says you throw it. I'll yell to sweep while it's coming down the ice. I'll kick that side one out of the rings with my foot, and we'll take 3.
Forward, but it won't go enough forward.
Pardon.
Top spin.
Come on, just there. Ice, elle va flopper, tu sais. Oui.
Well, if he hits it, the rolling needs.
What could be a very critical last rock in end number 5.
You could hear Don Walchuk just run under his breath there saying, I don't think he's going to make it.
Well, let's see if he does.
A very badly needed shot here for Guy Hemmings. He'd like to score at this halfway point in the game.
Got to get the shot rock off first.
But he does not. He gives up a steal courtesy of a jam, and Kevin Martin with a steal of 1 in end number 5 to lead Guy Hemmings by a count of 3-0. The Founders Trophy and the faces of today's quarterfinal matchup involving Guy Hemmings and Kevin Martin. Rycroft, Furland, the Smiling Skip, Don Walchuk, Pierre Charette. You're watching the Pharmacist Grand Slam of Curling, presented by M&M Meat Shops.
At M&M Meat Shops, we wanted our name to reflect more of what we offer.
Hello, M&M Meat, and hundreds of mouth-watering complete meals you can prepare quickly and easily to please the whole family shops. Can I help you?
But then again, why not just show you? Complete meals like New York strip loin with gourmet stuffed potato, stuffed turkey breast with farm fresh vegetable blend, and desserts like chocolate caramel pecan cheesecake. M&M Meat Shops, hundreds of meal ideas, one aisle.
It's not about the money, the glory, or stepping up to the podium knowing you're number 1. It's about taking the time to do your best. Like Kevin Martin, our pharmacists take the time to care for you and your family. And caring is the most important part of healthcare. Talk to your local pharmacist at one of these fine stores.
Speedstick 24/7 gives you proven non-stop protection. time-release sweat and odor fighters, Speed Stick's always there when you need it the most. For as long as you need it. Speed Stick 24/7. It never quits.
The all-new Jeep Liberty. With the confidence of Command Track four-wheel drive, it lets nothing get in the way of your daily commute.
Can't find my foot. I can't find my foot. Can't find my foot. Can you help me?
Gotcha! The magic of nighttime works better out here. Go on. Pursue your passions. Go RVing. Call for a free brochure and visit an RV dealer.
Hi there, this is Jody Vance. Sorry I can't come to the phone right now, but please leave a message after the tone.
The next edition of Sportsnet News comes your way with your fine host, Jason Porwando. Following curling, and the focus is the final Saturday night in the National Hockey League, including a preview of a Battle of Ontario involving the Leafs and the Ottawa Senators for home ice advantage in round number 1. Here in the fifth end break, Kevin Martin leading Guy Hemmings by a count of 3-0. Quarterfinal updates as they continue on this afternoon in St. John's. Sheet B, Pat Simmons and John Morse. And a good opportunity for Mr. Simmons.
It was an interesting end with a lot of rocks and playing. Pat Simmons' team played a very nice end. They were counting either 1 or 2 very close to the button. He had to sneak through this hole and have the perfect weight.
They have to sweep it, but as you can tell, the sweepers know all their sweeping was in vain.
A great effort, but they will settle for a deuce, but they're right back in it now, trailing by a count of 4-3. St. John's, Newfoundland, the home of the Pharmacist Grand Slam of Curling, presented by M&M Meat Shops.
At M&M Meat Shops, we wanted our name to reflect more of what we offer.
Hello, M&M Meat, and hundreds of mouth-watering complete meals you can prepare quickly and easily to please a whole family shops. Can I help you?
But then again, why not just show you? Complete meals like New York strip loin with gourmet stuffed potato, stuffed turkey breast with farm fresh vegetable blend, and desserts like chocolate caramel pecan cheesecake. M&M Meat Shops, hundreds of meal ideas, one aisle.
It's not about the money, the glory, or stepping up to the podium knowing you're number one. It's about taking the time to do your best. Like Kevin Martin, our pharmacists take the time. Time to care for you and your family. And caring is the most important part of healthcare. Talk to your local pharmacist at one of these fine stores.
So that's the service bay. This is the customer waiting area. And that is the posting board.
Okay.
Your first job is to go through these.
Boy, they work just like dogs around here, don't they?
And cut out the competition's ads.
That's good thinking, because you don't want people reading.
And you post them up there.
That's really dumb.
Well, that way our customers don't have to go all over town to compare prices. They can see that we offer great deals right here.
It's going to be awfully tough to compete with an offer like this.
And that's one of ours.
That's why you're in management. And, I'm not.
For all your car needs, Fountain Tire, home of the tire experts, and a whole lot more.
The Pharmacist Grand Slam of Curling, presented by M&M Meat Shops. At Mile 1 Stadium, it's the Pharmacist Players Championship on quarterfinal Saturday. We bring you up to date on all the activity in the quarterfinals. John Morris with a 4-3 lead over Pat Simmons. Jeff Stoughton in command, the defending champ, leading Mark Noseworthy 5-1. Brad Height by 3 over Glenn Desmond 6-3, and in our feature matchup, Kevin Martin leading Guy Hemmings 3-0 as we get set for the 6th end. We'll be back with that shortly.
You're watching Rogers Sportsnet and the Pharmacist Players Championship. Brought to you by Pharmacist. We take the time. M&M Meat Shop. Hundreds of meal ideas, one aisle. And by Viagra. Talk to your doctor.
At M&M Meat Shops, we wanted our name to reflect more of what we offer.
Hello, M&M Meat, and hundreds of mouth-watering complete meals you can prepare quickly and easily to please a whole family shops. Can I help you?
But then again, why not just show you? Complete meals like New York strip loin with gourmet stuffed potato, stuffed turkey breast with farm-fresh vegetable blend, and desserts like chocolate caramel pecan cheesecake. M&M Meat Shops. Hundreds of meal ideas. One aisle.
Every day, you have to work at the things you love. It takes patience, motivation, and the support of those around you. Most of all, it takes time. Like Carrie Burtnick, our pharmacists take the time for you and your family. Visit one of our over 1,100 participating pharmacies today. We take the time to care, and caring is the most important part of healthcare.
Le jour s'en ira, écoute-moi, queredo, maneggio picchia, pochia, e io vegi senza esclusione. Nuova età, ma melantiti, digan Antoni. Cosa, violaria, I did it my way.
Dimitri Young and the Tigers. Vernon Wells and the Jays. Jays on Rogers Sportsnet, Monday at 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific.
The Players' Championship continues tomorrow with the semifinals and the championship final, and there are the times for you coming your way. Noon Eastern for the semis, and 4 o'clock Eastern for the championship final. And in that matchup, there will be a first place check of $40,000 on the line. A quarterfinal update as we make our way to Sheet E. Height, Desmonds.
Well, you can see here, Glenn Desmond's pulling out all the stops. He's trying to make a soft double here for his deuce to get back into this game here, but doesn't quite make it, but a great effort. Every inch isn't going to help that. He scores this one.
And Desmonds with one, but still trails Brad Height after 6 ends by a count of 6-4 at Mile 1 Stadium in St. John's. We're in our feature matchup. Kevin Martin trying to advance to the semifinals once again, and it would mark the third time in 3 events that he's participated in this year, as far as Grand Slam events are concerned, that he would make it to the Final Four with a victory.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Lined them up good anyway.
Kevin unable this year to advance to a Grand Slam event final. He's been the 3rd place winner on 2 different accounts this year.
And really the story this year for Kevin Martin has kind of been his inability to win quarterfinals and semifinals. You know, they just kind of kept that car running usually during the quarterfinals because it's time to go home, and he's usually struggled in these games, which is very uncharacteristic.
He's had a very busy year. He opened up, his saddle curling center in Edmonton. Opened up his pro shop there. He's got 10 sheets of ice. Well, he's probably had different things on his mind too.
And he mentioned to me before the game that on April 9 to 11, the next coming weekend, he's got his junior bonspiel there, and 64 teams entered already, and they're still going to look for a few more entries, and he'll be making the draw for that event on Tuesday. So a great spiel.
Jeff Stoughton has Mark Noseworthy in a load of trouble, already leading 5-1. Take a look how this is shaping up.
And when you're down like Noseworthy is, you've got to gamble to try and get back into the game. And sometimes it backfires. He might not even have a shot here to count. He might just be trying to cut this in down that Stoughton has got set up. And there's a load of Stoughton's rocks in the 4-foot area.
Trying a double angle. And it may be a steal of 5 when it's all said and done. Certainly looks like 4 for sure.
And that'll pretty much put the icing on the cake in that game, with Stoughton jumping into a huge lead.
9-1 on what appears to be a steal of 4 for the defending Players Champion, Jeff Stoughton of Winnipeg. And they are all smiles right now.
Well, they far and beyond have played the best out of the field here. I mean, their record shows it. They've got confidence. They've got the Olympic spot. And you just got to think how great of a team they are.
2 skips chatting about whether it's shake hands time, and it's shake hands time. Jeff Stoughton and his rink moving on to the semifinals here at the Players Championship, extending their unbeaten ways in the event to a perfect 6-0 with a impressive quarterfinal victory over Mark Noseworthy. And unfortunately for the fans here in St. John's,
hey guys, everybody back home. Elizabeth,
both
Riley, Cole,
he
Haley.
and Brad Gushu have had their event come to an end today.
Threw at the wrong time, actually. The crowd is
Don't get service, my guardies.
turn them a little bit.
Pierre Charette getting
No.
set to deliver.
Both turns. Just plan to start.
In end number 6.
Like it?
Trying to get back into this game. Hemmings did throw a corner guard just a foot or 2 off the center line, but Martin, when he's ahead like 3, he'll take that corner guard off, take the game into the rings, and then play to double the other team out. And so you have to be so careful now when you're trying to get into the game, back into the game against Martin. Where do you position the stones that you don't set up a double?
Need help? Hard, guys, come on. Come on, you got her, come on, you got me deep. Hard way.
Charette urging them on with the sweep.
Once again, struggling a little bit with that weight.
Out.
Jeff Stoughton moving on with the impressive victory over Mark Noseworthy, and he will take on the winner of Pat Simmons and John Morris in tomorrow's semifinal round. Height and Despens for the right to take on the winner of our feature matchup, Kevin Martin and Guy Hemmings.
Which means that our 2 finalists from last year, Stoughton and Morris, can't play in the final because they're on the same side of the draw.
At times I've had trouble figuring out that draw, but that one makes a lot of sense to me. Same side as, yes, they did collide for the title last year at the Black Gold Arena in Leduc, Alberta.
Jeez.
In the end, not exactly unfolding the way Kevin Martin would like it, as Mark Noseworthy acquits himself very nicely this week. Entered the 18-team field by virtue of fan balloting and did not disappoint, advancing to the round of 8.
I really like that idea. And then you see Glenn Goss there giving the crowd a big hand himself. I like the idea of that balloting. Newfoundlanders certainly know their players here.
They're very patriotic, and they were with their team, Gushu and Noseworthy, all the way, and we're pulling for them every inch.
And one of the people standing in the stands, clapping for Mark Noseworthy, was Brad Gushu himself, just stationed in front of us. Don Walchuk going back to the hack.
Tough double here. This is fairly flat angle, so Walchuk's going to have to, which he can, throw an awful lot of weight, and Martin's cleaning it up a little bit in case they manage to get over there for the roll. Throwing the out turn with basically no ice.
Don Walchuk looking for the double, and a difficult one at that.
Needed a lot of weight because he's going to hit a lot of this stone, and this rock will lose energy. Couldn't sweep that because it never did reach the tee line as it blew and rolled straight sideways.
Fine shot by Don Walchuk.
5 years ago, he'd have made that, they said.
Well, that's a good miss, isn't it, Ed?
Non, même pas 13 ans. As-tu le nez?
Not a bad shot for a beach player who just came in from Cancun.
Perfect. Couldn't hit it. Well, throw it harder. Well, pretty important to hit it right.
And it's funny, there's the perfectionist in Don Walchuk and Kevin Martin really thinking that, you know, for it to be perfect, the blue ends up on the boards. But a great shot by the Martin third, Don Walchuk.
I'm good now.
Berland attempting to execute out-turn tap on these two stones in the 4-foot area.
Lots of weight. Going to hang out there.
Oh, I'm telling you, it's just so weight sensitive. You could be 8 foot on that. You could be top 4.
And when you take your ice here to move a stone or play hack weight on it, that relates more to takeout ice. It's a little bit more than takeout ice, not less than draw.
The complexion of this end has changed 3 different times in the last 3 shots.
Yeah, and we can't afford to fix it.
That's easy.
No, just feel it out.
It's easy for these guys to do that, isn't it, Eddie? We've seen that happen so many times.
That's what I'm thinking, right?
But the one thing with this type of curling that maybe doesn't happen all the time is it's been a lot of missed shots in this matchup that's led to some of those complexion changes.
I'm just thinking.
You're exactly right, Peter.
Making this hit and roll here. Even
and it's been a factor of weight.
Yeah, the control has them in there all the time today, and
yeah, I think it is.
Which to me kind of surprises me with these teams that
what
played
I'm
so well all week.
Later.
Kevin Martin with a round-robin record of 4-1 to finish first in his pool. As for Hemmings, he had to win a tiebreaker earlier today, beating Brad Gushu 6-4 to advance to this quarterfinal round.
Weegard now, he plays the double up.
I'm thinking freezing. That was easier then. Yeah, no.
I don't think not much we can do about it. I know he's going to make it, but what do you do?
Detecting a little impatience in Kevin Martin's tone there. Quite know what that's all about.
Big weight on that hit as he removes the Hemmings stone.
What do? You know he's going to make it. That's all right.
C'est pas, c'est vraiment pas dur, il joue juste à la place, c'est comme une demi-pierre pour le je vais essayer de parler. On fait le trip, il va droyer un 2, je pense, puis il va frapper. D'après moi, 3-0, il essaie peut-être de frapper ici. Il enlève les deux dedans ou quelque chose. Ben, ça, c'est si je fais le trip, tu sais. Le trip, c'est un nose-it, bien solide. Frappe de titre. Ouais, on va être capable pendant un. Il ne faut plus se faire voler. Là, puis... Well, I hit this one on the nose and be
Following the consultation, what would Mr. Hemmings like to achieve with this rock?
Looks like a straight back triple. He could play the out-turn soft and tap it for shot stone. Instead, he's chosen to go after the triple and try and make that blue one of his on the side better at some point in time and be able to counter it. That one's sitting at the 3 o'clock position on the right-hand side.
I bet you this call surprises Kevin Martin because he was calling him to make that freeze.
Hemmings trying the triple.
Curl. A little more, just a little more.
And removes one, but leaves Martin with 2 counters.
Well, that's twice we've seen him jam on that turn.
I have to lift the stone on this.
Leaves the Martin rocks in a better position.
And if it's just bite the 8-foot.
One of those days for Hemmings where those doubles just aren't working out.
Sure, yeah.
Anywhere right on center line.
And a real opportunity here with a 3-0 advantage to put Hemmings in some difficulty.
No.
Well, he can, but it has to be this.
Now, this is experience. You know, a long time ago as a junior, Kevin Martin would have just been happy. Well, they're not going to count a bunch, so you just throw it in the ring somewhere. But now he's the kind of guy he thinks about, well, how do I leave them nothing once I position it perfectly?
We've said it many times before, how his eyes see many different angles, many different shots.
It's a big shot, you guys. So what do you want exactly? Top 4? Top 4? Well, it depends on the line. Like, what would be a killer for us to have it over curl? Yeah. Mind you, if we don't curl enough, we've got a real easy shot for one. Yeah. So, around the center line.
We talked to Kevin before the game about his delivery, and like he's the professional no lift, but he pulls it back beside his leg, not right to the toe. He says he can throw a lot more power when he brings it back into an area where he can pull it back a tiny bit more.
Ballpark, I think.
Hit it early. Okay, we're okay.
Just freeze. Top 8, top 4.
Just here, guys. Just here. Just bite the 40. Looks heavy.
We're right on top of it. We're right on top of it, Don. Yep. We're going to freeze.
Heart.
Freeze.
Heart.
Oh, oh, oh.
That's good. Good shot.
Excellent shot.
Take that. Sometimes the best guard in the world is one frozen right on, and this is a certain situation where that's true.
Good sweeping, you guys.
You know what?
Yeah, I think it's okay now.
Yeah. If he makes that double, we still get one.
Ben, t'as pas rien d'autre chose, Guy, je pense. Absolument rien d'autre chose. C'est juste faut que tu... Quand tu t'en viens, il faut juste que tu touches à elle, toc. Tu vas être correct.
Ouais, ben, elle s'en va là, faut que tu touches à elle avant. Elle s'en va là.
You play this couple here, it won't drag down enough here.
Non.
Faut que tu touches à elle avant, puis touches à elle après.
Non, ouais.
You know what I mean?
High side there. Tu vas pogner ici, mettons. Ça, le drag est fait.
Let's go to Brad Height's final rock on sheet E as he's taking on Glenn Despens.
He has looked at a pile this end. You could hear the call. Put it on the tee line. You've got it made, boys. When Brad Height calls for those boys to stay off, there's no mistake. Steal of 1 for Glenn Despens.
Glenn Despens trailed at 1.6 to 3, but a steal of 1 has him back to within 1 as he trails it now by a count of 6 to 5 in the all-Saskatchewan matchup. Still one very critical rock left to be thrown here in end number 6 in our feature game.
Well, there's that clock ticking away.
But it's a real pickle for Hemmings. He doesn't look like he can outdraw it, and he trails 3-0. There aren't any good doubles around that allow him to count.
The good double is going to leave Martin still sitting 1.
They talked if you hit this a little bit high side, broom side, if you could get drag on the shot stone so it would clip the back one as well.
I don't think that drag is there.
If you curl another inch, it might have been there.
And on the out-turn draw, you pretty well have to draw like the side or the back of the pinhole.
Which one?
To give him one. Might as well blast it.
I was going to say an explosive device right about now might be your only hope.
He already trails 3-0 and now facing almost an impossible shot just to get one.
Guy Hemmings, the last rock of end number 6.
And again, he elects to throw that in turn.
Facing 4. And will give up a steal of 1 as Kevin Martin continues to control with yet another steal, leading Guy Hemmings by a count of 4-0 here in St. John's at the Players' Championship.
HSBC Stars on Ice, presented by Danone, where skating's best come together for the most spectacular show on ice. Starring Kurt Browning, Saleh and Peltier, Alexa Yagudin, Berezhnaya and Sikorelidze, Brasseur and Eisler, plus many more. HSBC Stars on Ice, presented by Danone. Tickets now on sale. Call your local box office for more information or visit hsbcstarsonice.ca.
Finished.
Wow, that only took you 3 years?
Funny. Hey, want to go for a drive?
I thought we were going for a drive. They don't still do that, do they?
Nope.
But you know, I still have to be home by 10.
It features a V8 engine. It seats 8 passengers. And it charts a new course for the luxury SUV.
Don't forget.
Gouda.
Gouda. Gouda. Gouda. Gouda.
And what can I get you?
Havarti?
Quarterfinal Saturday here at the Players' Championship. John Morris continues to lead in his matchup, 6-4. Jeff Stoughton advancing to the semifinals with a 9-1 triumph over Mark Noseworthy. It is Brad Height by 1 over Glenn Despin, 6-5 in end number 8. And of course, our feature matchup, Kevin Martin's tossing a shutout right now over Guy Hemmings.
Top 4.
The Founders Trophy. As we welcome to our broadcast position the defending 2-time provincial champion of Newfoundland, Brad Gushue, who I know, Brad, right now you'd love to be down on the ice instead of joining us after losing the tiebreaker earlier today by a count of 6-4 to Guy Hemmings. Just a thought on your week here against a very, very fine field.
It was very exciting. The play in front of the home fans and against the best teams in the world was very exciting, and we're pleased with the way we played. It was you know, we'd love to be out there now, but we had a good week and we beat some good teams, so we're pretty pleased with ourselves.
You've had a good run this year. One more win at the Briar, one more win here. You'd be a household name.
Yeah, it's, you know, if we had gotten one of those wins, I think we'd be really pleased with the year, but overall it's been pretty good to win the provincials and get to the Briar, and to put the show on that we did at the Briar was, you know, was pretty exciting. Like I said, we're definitely pleased with it.
Well, your team is always fun to watch, even when you go back to your World Junior victory. You guys love to gamble. You guys play that style.
Yeah, we you know, we don't find it that much fun when you're just hitting. You know, we like to put rocks in play and, you know, angle them in and run them back. And I grew up idolizing guys like Kevin Martin and Wayne Madaw, and tried to, you know, model my game a little bit after those guys.
No one has been to the Canadian Junior Championship more than the gentleman with us, and he's got a bright future. Brad, one question as I watched you at the Briar, how much did the year of experience help you as you were able this year to take one more step and make your way into the playoffs?
Oh, it definitely helped. When you get back, you're so much more comfortable with the atmosphere, and, you know, you don't see waves at Curling Club or Bonspiels, and you know, it takes a while to get used to stuff like that, and the media and the crowds and autographs. And, you know, when we went back, we were really comfortable, and we felt at home when we went back the first game out there, and, you know, that does a lot for your confidence.
Brad joined us in the booth, another edition of Rock Talk with the other gentleman from Newfoundland in this Players' Championship field, Mark Noseworthy. And Mark, I guess we'll get to the matchup with Jeff Stoughton. You've had such a great week. Unfortunately, the quarterfinal didn't go quite the way you would have liked.
No, we were a little tight, a little tentative starting out, and we got down a couple, and you know, you got to lay it on the line and try to come back. Sometimes it works for you, sometimes it doesn't. It just never worked for us today.
Well, we were saying you could have used a helicopter in that last end there, that last shot.
I think dynamite would have been more appropriate.
So you've got to be pleased. You're here, you're in your hometown, you've got Brad Gushu, he's backing you all the way, and I know that he was in the crowd cheering you on today. I mean, I thought it was a great idea to have this ballot situation go on, Mark. You are very popular here.
Well, you know, I've been around here now for quite a number of years, and Brad's been around in the last few years, and he's done great for himself, and Newfoundlanders love their own, and it showed this week. We had a lot of support here.
Mark, this is Brad. Just wondering if this team is going to be your team for next year.
I'm not going to let that out the bag yet.
The contracts aren't signed yet, is that what you're saying?
I think they're holding out for more money.
That was a great show, Mark.
Thank you.
Well, probably the toughest things you face, you know, to play on the tour and to slam all the time is the travel, right? To be able to get to the Spiels.
That's a big problem for us down here. I mean, you got to have a lot of sponsorship dollars to get away to any number of Spiels. And we used to travel quite a bit back in the late 80s and early and mid-90s. We had some really good sponsorship. The last few years now it's been a little tougher. I know this year Brad had great sponsorship and played quite a bit and did quite well. Maybe next year now we're hoping to build on this. We got a lot of coverage this weekend, and we're going to hope to get some new sponsorship dollars to come into the team and see what we can do next year.
I'll ask both of you this from the lovely eastern part of our nation, and how proud are both of you of the fact that in recent years there's been a lot of success at both the Canadian level and the world level from rinks out in eastern Canada?
Yeah, I'm very pleased with it. I think over the last number of years the eastern provinces haven't quite got the respect from the western provinces, and you know what the teams have done this year and the past couple of years has really shown that the East can play and compete with the West.
Mark, your thoughts?
Well, I think the talent was always there. It was just more of a can-do attitude, and I mean, the last few years, they've really turned it around. The East has really done well, and not just in one discipline. They've done well in the junior men's and ladies, the Briar, obviously Colleen with the Scott. They've been very strong in mixed. Newfoundland won the senior men's this year, and I guess we can give the western provinces the senior ladies and let them take that, and we'll take the rest back home.
Your junior, well, you better count on that, though, Mark. Your junior program here, you had 200 players. Guy Hemmings talked about that. Your junior program, is it a good one here?
Our program has been pretty fully subscribed for a number of years. I know when we had the junior clinic on Tuesday night, here this week, where we had some of the teams come out and help our junior players. On the very first session, we had 85 kids under 10 that play in our curling club. That doesn't include the 11 to 18-year-olds. So 85 kids under 10 in any program, as far as I'm concerned, is quite good. And if you get them young enough, you'll keep them.
Fantastic.
As far as youngsters are concerned, we see John Morris out there, Pat Simmons, Brad, yourself. I take it you have to feel like the future of Canadian curling and Canadian men's curling is in pretty solid hands with people like yourself and the two aforementioned rinks I just talked about.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's going to be very hard in the coming years to win a Brier or win a Players' Championship. John's had, you know, a phenomenal success over the last number of years, and Pat's really proven himself this year on the money list. And they're going to be guys that you're going to see for many years to come.
Before we let both of you go, and we'll start with Mark, do you guys like one rink in particular of the field that remains here in St. John's?
Well, all the teams obviously have been playing pretty good. The ice has been fabulous. I wish I could play on it every day. But club ice is a lot different from this, but all these teams are experienced, and they're all on a pretty good roll here now, and I'm not going to go out on a limb and predict any one team here.
Oh, come on, Mark.
I'll go out and predict. Brad? I think Jess Stoughton's playing very well. We played him in the first game of the week and been watching them because they were in our section, and they're playing remarkably well. They're making a lot of shots and really putting the pressure on the other teams, and they're going to be very tough to beat.
Well, I'd love to thank both of you. Congratulations on putting on a terrific show in your hometown. I know you love the fan support, and it's a great area, and we're lucky enough to come here this weekend and help celebrate it with you, because amongst yourselves and the crowd, you've all put on a great show.
Great
show.
show.
Thanks for coming, too.
Thanks very much, guys.
Brad Gushu and Mark Noseworthy of Newfoundland, both enjoying some excellent success here in the 18-team Field Players Championship. Unfortunately for Mark Noseworthy, he loses to a unbeaten 6-0 Jeff Stoughton. As Brad Gushu just talked about, the defending champion looks like he is in great shape to move on in this particular event. And Kevin Martin certainly in the driver's seat in our feature matchup this afternoon, leading 4-0.
And for Kevin Martin, the only game he lost here was to Mark Noseworthy, 8-3 in the round robin, when Noseworthy was really hot that one evening, just making absolutely everything. And this arena, they talked about this great ice and this phenomenal arena too, Mile One Stadium. What a great place to play.
Kevin Martin's road to the quarterfinals brought to you by AMJ Campbell Van Lines. The victory over Brewster and Park in the loss, as Ed just talked about, to the local favorite, Mark Noseworthy. A triumph over Pat Simmons, and poor Wayne Maddaw goes 1-4. He's had so much success with the Players' Championship, but not this week in a matchup that seemed to me to last about 25 minutes before it was 6-0 and all said and done here last night in the final draw of the round robin.
Things just weren't going the way of Wayne Maddaw. You know, we're not used to that because he's won this Players' Championship 4 times. It's sort of been his baby over the years, and then I guess sometimes it evens up. You know, all those wins he's had over the year, all of a sudden he comes here and he wins his first one and loses 4 in a row.
And Wayne Maddaw, up until this point, just enjoying tremendous success. As far as the slams are concerned, he was 13-7 coming in on the year, and the money total at $95,000 for the year as far as winning money.
Well, there's no doubt about it. He loves to play for money. If it wasn't for money last night, he said, I want to go and have fun at that Tour Tavern.
And I'm sure he did enjoy himself when it was all said and done. But a rough week, unfortunately, for Midland's Wayne Maddaw and his rink, as the Hemmings foursome trying desperately to get something going their way. And I think you'd both agree they've had some chances in this game, but just haven't been able to take advantage.
Nothing has clicked. Every time Guy has tried the tricky shot, the double or the triple or the proper roll, and he's always jammed it or just been a half-inch off. And first of all, they got to get on the scoreboard here, 4-0. You know, they got to hit the chalk, and a deuce here would certainly set them on their way.
Guy Hemmings' road to the quarterfinals involved an extra game, knocking off Glenn Despens, losing to Glenn Howard, beating Brown of the United States, losing to Brad Height, and a huge win in his final game of the round robin over Kerry Burtnick to make it into a tiebreaker, in which he knocked off Brad Gushu earlier today by a count of 6-4, but trails it right now by 4 in the 7th inning. A second quarterfinal appearance at a Grand Slam event this season for Team Hemmings.
Kevin Martin going to play the long, straight run back here.
Well, I mean, if you
Doesn't think that the
off the nose, he's going to
breeze is good enough.
Well, he could go around him.
Well, we'll see a little bit of speed on this one. Somewhere in that area, probably 6 seconds hog to hog.
His thinking is, I'm up 4-0.
Yep. Roll it.
Leave some
Roll
dust.
it. Roll
Wow,
it.
he just missed it.
Roll it. Roll it.
I had 4.7 seconds hog to hog. A little bit of heat on that one.
A little giddy up indeed.
Well, when you have leg power like Kevin Martin practices, he just misses the back rock, almost making it, but looking for the roll on his shooter.
And although it looked like it was straight back, he threw it so hard that there was enough energy in his shooter to roll and open it up ever so slightly. So Guy does not have, you know, a second rock that he can just get in there totally buried without cover, and also cover up the back.
Same way, guys.
Yeah. I refer to that as Rogers Sportsnet booth weight, because if you're not careful, it might land in our booth.
I think so.
Little deflection somewhere in a ramp, and look out.
There's no one in the world that throws it harder and more accurate than Kevin Martin.
The Olympic silver medalist from 2002. Kevin fortunate enough actually to participate in 2 Olympic Games, because he played in 1992 in Albertville when curling was just a demonstration sport.
I'm good. Whoa, 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 whoa. Where is
This
it?
one hanging very,
Go
very
to free.
wide so far for Hemmings.
Right,
Sweeper's
stopping.
in behind it, waiting for it to break.
Whoa, 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 close. Yep, 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 get it by hard.
Speed on it.
And that
Okay,
was
all right.
plan. That was pretty much plan C back there.
Very well.
You know what? That worked out all right.
Pat Simmons, John Morris, continuing their quest for a semifinal berth on Sunday.
Well, it was Morris getting to the other end to get into a 6-3 lead. Simmons tries the double, doesn't quite make it. It's a steal. One more for John Morris. Now leads it by a score of 7-3.
John Morris losing in the Players' Championship final 1 year ago in Leduc, and maybe as a result of that miss,
we get it. We get
a
it.
step closer to getting
what the
back
heck?
to the final.
Lord hates the coward, right?
Yep.
You know, you can really talk about the teams having momentum, and we talk about Randy Furby's team. I mean, he's really been a long-time role, and it ended, we saw in the Brier when he lost to Mark Dacey.
That was a good line call.
And, you know, there's one shot or one particular game that turns it all around.
Made something.
Oh, no doubt. In all of these cash spiels during the year, and also the Grand Slams, you got to have that one game where you kind of get it going and really make the big shot. Sometimes it's a double or a triple, and all of a sudden after that you feel unbeatable.
Kevin Martin calling the sweepers off. Last rock for him at the end.
Touch for me.
Very, very tiny double.
Catches it just a bit.
Wow, what a shot.
Whoa. What a shot by Kevin Martin. He wanted it to curl just a touch, and it did just that.
When you see Kevin Martin laying on the ice, you know he's close, because his eyeball is just herring to that. And Kevin Martin's reaction is unbelievable, because that smile, he's intense.
Well, when you can throw it that hard, it brings in a whole new element to the game. You know, it's a real weapon to be able to throw that, because he couldn't have done that with soft weight.
What a shot.
Hey?
How can that one stay there?
At times this week, we haven't seen a lot of smiles
coming from the angle
amongst those two gentlemen at that end of the rink, but there's something to smile about right now.
Those are the shots that make you turn around in a game. Makes the team feel good.
I remember a game at the Olympics in 02 in Ogden and Salt Lake, where he was playing Peter Lindholm, and that was just a highlight reel game. Some of the shots, every second shot was something like that.
All right. Hey,
It was Peter Lindholm making them.
On the board.
Guy Hemmings a draw for one. But Kevin Martin in command. He leads Guy Hemmings 4-1 here in St. John's.
I'm Kayla. Home in a couple days.
Don't forget.
Gouda.
Gouda. Gouda. Gouda. Gouda.
And what can I get you?
Richie?
Speed Stick 24/7 gives you proven non-stop protection. With time-release sweat and odor fighters, Speed Stick's always there when you need it the most. For as long as you need it. Speed Stick 24/7. It never quits.
Some fertilizers can burn your lawn. But CIL Golf Green has double-coated nitrogen to feed your lawn gradually, without burning. CIL Golf Green. Greener, longer, guaranteed.
OK Tire proudly carries Kumho tires. Kumho tires, the smooth, superior formula technology. For a chance to win, take a spin to OK Tire. Local performance is daily at over 230 locations across Canada.
Et puis, le jour s'en ira, écoute-moi, alkedo, maneggio picchia, pochia, e io vegi senza esclusione. It's a time, my melody, ingananconi. I did it my way.
Now you can redeem for unforgettable reward experiences. Travel on over 100 airlines. Convert to Aeroplan miles. Introducing the new CIBC Aventura Gold Visa Card.
16 teams have a chance. Only one gets to hoist. Who drinks from Lord Stanley's mug this year? This team will break it down. Hockey Central playoff preview with emphasis on our Canadian teams. Monday at 11.
Time for our game shot, brought to you by Viagra. Talk to your doctor. It's Kevin Martin's last rock of N number 7.
Well, you just have to love this. When you see Kevin Martin looking at a shot that he knows he can make, it's got to feel good. He's into this game, Ed.
You have to fear that kind of weight that he throws, too, because he can make anything.
John Morris in control against Pat Simmons, leading 7-3 in the 8th. Jeff Stoughton on his way to the semifinal round, courtesy of a 9-1 triumph over Mark Noseworthy. And Brad Height by 3 over Glenn Despens in the all-Saskatchewan quarterfinal battle. Mile One Stadium, one of the finest facilities in all the country.
Okay, how much weight? Heavy.
Lots heavy.
Okay, yep. Whoa. Yes. Whoa. Whoa.
Ness played the first one in front of the rings, and the Martin team with that 4-rock rule in place, trying to move it over into the side of the rings and roll off their shooter. That's a good shot. Sure, they raised it in, but now they got the front open.
Peter Loubardius on hand this weekend, along with the regulars and the fine analysts, Marilyn Bodo and Ed Lukowicz, who are carrying my sorry self throughout this quarterfinal matchup, but certainly been a pleasure working with both of you and having a chance to share some curling and the thoughts of these two former champions. And lots more to come your way on what should be a super Sunday at curling. We'll have the semi-final round for you coming your way at noon Eastern time, and then don't forget about the championship final a very short time later, starting at 4 o'clock Eastern. And is this not the day that we have to set our clocks ahead an hour?
Oh, not that again.
Yes.
I get so confused with that.
See, in Saskatchewan, we never have to worry about that. We just don't change.
Whoa.
Well, the rest of the world springs forward, you see.
Yes, I know. I didn't say one was necessarily right over the other. I'm just saying that, you know.
Hard. Roll hard. Roll hard. All the way. All the way.
That means we lose an hour
Yes, exactly.
of sleep.
Well, it'll be a lot of fun tomorrow. Final 4 of this Players' Championship. The first Players' Championship, Mr. Lukowicz, I know you remember it very well. 1993 in Calgary.
Yes, we had the first two in Calgary.
Yes.
And, the first one was won by Russ
Mine's good.
Howard over Paul Savage. Way back when.
Stay with it. Line's good. Top four.
And yet, when you come to
Yeah,
St.
4
John's,
foot,
Newfoundland,
4 foot,
you
guys,
do
come on.
need that extra hour of sleep somewhere because
Come on, line's great, guys. Come on.
they do like to go to the wee hours.
Come on, Hart.
They do indeed. Things get started late and end late.
Okay.
A great site for this Players' Championship.
And also the site of the Scott Turner of Hearts for 2005 next year. I know the committee came through the stadium and just thought it would be absolutely awesome. And I know that the Scott Turner of Hearts is excited about having the tickets selling. I know that they're really working hard on that. It's a beautiful facility here.
And we believe that the Players' Championship comes back here again next year, does it not?
That's correct. They have a contract signed, and Newfoundland is going to be invaded again.
Great place to visit, great place for curling.
Good.
Highly recommend St. John's if you've been unlucky and haven't been able to make your way to this part of our fine country.
Oh, Mark. Carol.
Hospitality out here with an A++.
Oh.
It's like being in your mom's kitchen.
It is indeed. Everybody very friendly, welcoming, and they are so proud of this area.
For Hemmings here, he has to steal to get back into this game, trailing at 4-1, and also has to survive. You know, at this point in time, Martin certainly is going to look for another 2 or 3 ender just to salt it away.
Good throw.
Hemmings with second shot stone. He'll guard that another time and may perhaps make a play on the yellow with this last stone at the end.
Martin Furlan.
Mine's good.
Trying to throw up the guard.
No, I think it's okay there.
Charette and Ness taking a look.
Yeah. Come on.
Didn't totally guard it, and Kevin could make a hack weight play here around it, which wouldn't be a bad play. That's such a long guard that it's pretty tough for Hemmings to bury in behind there where Kevin can't have a hack weight shot to dig it out.
In this case, though, asking Don Walchuk to peel that guard off.
They just get into that machine mode now, don't they? And
Well, it's not a good
just
team to get 2 or 3 down to because they peel just exceptionally well.
Take a look at the comparison amongst the two thirds. Furland and Walchuk, brought to you by M&M Meat Shops through 7 ends of play.
Not two real stellar games from both thirds for Landon Walchuk. We're used to seeing them in the high 80s.
And it was really those missed draws, you know, early in the game by Furlan, uncharacteristically so, because he generally has pretty nice weight, and he was heavy on some draws, and that got the Hemmings team into early trouble.
Walchuk did come through a couple of ends ago with a very big double that allowed the Martin Rink to continue to put the pressure on Hemmings.
Well, I always say what wins a curling game is, number one, you know, on the bad side, complete misses really hurt you, but on the good side, it's those bonus shots you make. When you make the big double, big triple, the big shot, you know, on the plus side, that wins.
Wow!
Like that right there. 5 out of 4.
That'll up your percentage, won't it? Walchuk doubling both the Hemmings stones off. And they're having a good time now.
Well, it's that same old familiar machine we've seen over and over again. Don Walchuk really picked up his game and makes the shots for his skip.
Nothing is safe when they go to throw a double, and it's just hard to find positions once you're behind in the game that they can't make a double or a straight back.
And I guess over the years, what has made this team so impressive in just sitting back and watching as I have is they seem to be able to beat you any which way. If you want to play a finesse game, they can play it that way, and you guys have both made mention of the fact that as far as the hit game and two gentlemen who can throw big weight with accuracy, Walchuk would probably be number 2 right behind the skip, Kevin Martin.
It kind of goes back to about 1997 when when Randy Furby for the 1 year was the third on this team, but then he left the team and Walchuk moved up to third, and then they were in the Brier final in 96 and in Kelowna against Stoughton. But in 97 in Calgary, they really established themselves there against Vic Peters with a 10-8 win in the final, and they were doing that the whole game, the big run backs.
In front of a huge crowd that day at the Saddle Dome in Calgary.
Wow.
Time to check in on our other quarterfinals still in progress. John Morris leading.
Sorry, Morris has really taken control of this game and just really hasn't let Simmons have a lot to work with. But, you know, Pat not giving up, just try and get a deuce and get back into it and play up the string anyway, and has a wide open hit here and the deuce and slowly creep back into the game.
Not a biter there, just outside the 12, so he settles for 2, and yes, indeed, Mr. Morris leading, but Pat Simmons will not go away in that quarterfinal matchup.
Well, Pat's going to need some stealage to come back and win that one.
It's never over until the last rock is done.
Almost saved them both. Would have needed much quieter weight to be able to save both.
Kevin Martin, not sure if he wanted to even keep them in play, maybe. I don't think he's too unhappy with that.
Well, there's nothing around the center line anyway, so it's going to be a tough steal for Hemmings. He does have the one corner guard to work with.
Hemmings trailing by 3.
And the bad news for him is that's a yellow stone. Even if he does bury in behind it, you know, Martin will probably just, you know, have a quick look at it and say, hey, well, we'll just drive it straight back. No choice here, though. He's got to get behind cover. I think, you know, with Guy there, I think he's just struggled with his delivery a little bit. And I saw him early in the year at one Grand Slam practicing with Charette, and they just were not happy with the way Guy was releasing, and he struggled a bit today, too, with the delivery.
This really needs to move over if it's to be buried under any kind of cover, and not the case here.
Well, it's buried behind the CA there in WCP, whatever.
You know what? I've been waiting 8 ends for one of those.
Well, I remember playing in lots of games, and if you're down a whole bunch of points, you just say, bear it behind the hack. They can't get it there, you know. They can't hit us there.
Forward board. Oh, yeah. Take one here is good. Yeah, I'm not too worried about rolling out.
Kevin Martin would like to, but as he just indicated, he'd be satisfied with removing the Hemmings stone for 1.
All the way,
Last rock of end number 8.
Right out of his hand. Something happened to that rock.
They weren't going to try to play it too cute, but too cute as it takes off. It picks right out of his hand, and he makes contact with the corner guard. It's a steal.
What looked like a shot that might put it away turns into a steal.
Well, you can see Kevin Martin when he pulls back his rock, a familiar push out of the hack. And as he releases it, you can see the reaction right out of his hand, the pick.
A steal of 1 for Guy Hemmings. And don't go away yet. Lots more to come in this quarterfinal affair.
HSBC Stars on Ice, presented by Danone, where skating's best come together for the most spectacular show on ice. Starring Kurt Browning, Saleh and Peltier, Alexei Yagudin, Berezhnaya and Sikora-Lidze, Brasseur and Eisler, plus many more. HSBC Stars on Ice, presented by Danone. Tickets now on sale. Call your local box office for more information or visit hsbcstarsonice.ca.
Le jour s'en ira, écoute-moi, alkeredo. Maneggio picchia, pochia, e io feci senza esclusione. Ma melantiti, diganantoni. Nostra, violeria, I did it my way.
Unsurpassed
engineering, unparalleled technology. It blows away the competition. Champion, Mach 3 Turbo Champion. It's the world's best shave. Gillette guarantees it. Now with a red-hot new look, nothing else even comes close. Test drive one today. Mach 3 Turbo Champion. From Gillette, the best a man can get. Mach 3 Turbo, the official blade of the NHL.
See, now aren't you glad that I wanted the heated seats in all this room?
Liz, right now it's not about that or the DVD. It's about the Hemmings. Power, capability, big-time towing, end of story.
Dodge Durango, the ultimate authority in winter driving.
Think you can handle it from here? Thanks for the talk.
Stay at Ramada Canada, you'll earn points towards the things you really want with the largest hotel rewards program ever. Think of it as a gazillion more reasons why Ramada Canada is a very good place to be.
Just when Jimmy and Jill and Oz and Cynthia think they're out of trouble with the mob,
Don't have to shoot Oz, honey.
they pull them back in.
Where is my wife?
Bruce Willis, Matthew Perry, the whole 10 yards.
Starts Friday, April 9th.
Guys. Across the 4-foot line.
We're there.
It's heavy.
We're right on top of it. We're right on top of it, Don. Yeah.
Beautiful St. John's, Newfoundland. What a picture that is. And as far as the fans, that's a nice picture as well. Enjoying the action here at the Pharmacist Players Championship. Taking a look at how things have developed here this afternoon in our quarterfinal affair involving Kevin Martin and Guy Hemmings. And a large miss with Kevin Martin's last rock in end number 8 has kind of opened the door a little in a match that I thought was close to shake hands time.
Yeah, it's never over till it's over. And Martin with basically, you know, more, you could see more than all of that stone. So a routine board weight hit for 2 to make it 6-1 and, you know, almost a handshaker.
Like you took out the 8.
And all of it, you know, out of nowhere, Brock Gibson, side guard with steal. We got a brand new game.
John Morris continuing to lead Pat Simmons. It is Jeff Stoughton on his way to the semifinals with a victory over Mark Noseworthy. Height by 1 over Glenn Despins. That's in end number 10. And, of course, our feature matchup 4-2 in favor of Kevin Martin, leading Guy Hemmings.
Those Saskatchewan boys playing a very fast game over there. There's been a lot of rocks in play, but they're already in the 10th end.
A look at the Players' Championship winners over the years. Kevin Martin has won the title on 3 different occasions.
Looks like you need it.
And hoping to keep his hopes of a 4th alive here this afternoon. Leading by a pair.
Now, Guy Hemmings needs a lot of rocks in play to get an unmistakable another steal on a Kevin Martin team.
Yeah, and for Guy, like he's one kind of 1 point too far behind to not gamble. Like if he was only 1 down without, you know, he could do what Dacey did in the prior. You know, he let Furby have 1 and get 3 going home in the final. Sometimes that works, but when you're 2 down without, you pretty well have to go. You don't want to be 3 down playing the last end.
Over to Hog.
Pierre Charette.
Over to Hog, boys.
The Hemmings team still in a steal mode.
Look over. Need help? Go, guys, go. Good.
Throwing up
Look over,
another
we're good.
guard.
Look over. Shot. Sweet.
Here's how the money breaks down at the Players' Championship here in St. John's. A whopping $40,000 first place check. 20,000, 15. Fourth place, $10,000, and then just for qualifying into this quarterfinal round, a nice little payday of $5,000. And an interesting change this year, playing off this year in Grand Slam events for third place, and a little extra incentive to finish third.
And $1,000 a win along the way before you qualify, and Martin was 4-1 in his group, so he won. He pocketed $4,000 there in the round robin, and Hemmings was 3-2, so he won $3,000.
You didn't go to flash it to make a double. It's one of the two.
Throw in line.
Martin Ferland throwing up another card.
We mentioned in our opening that Jeff Stoughton won the most points on the Canadian team ranking system. So Stoughton has that number 5 spot right now in the trials in 2005 in Halifax. He joins Randy Furby and Mark Dacey, who had already won spots. Furby kind of won a lot of events over the last couple of years and helped other guys to get into it.
Yeah,
John Morris as well.
Passing on the title to other players, other teams, which is nice for the other teams to feel that.
And Jay Peachy, although he didn't win the Brier, the other teams this year were already in, so Jay Peachy got a spot as well. There'll be 5 more teams determined next year before those trials finally take place in Halifax in 2005.
Road to Halifax. What an event that'll be.
And then on the boat and across the ocean to Torino, Italy, also known as Turin.
Mine's good.
For the 2006 games.
Well, it was back in 2000 that Kevin Martin got one of his trial spots from the Tour Championship in Winnipeg. He made a double in his last rock to beat Wayne Madoff 6-4, and that got him his trial spot.
5 teams, as Ed alluded to, have already advanced, and there they are. Mr. Furby, the Canadian champion, Mark Dacey, John Morris.
How are we doing for time, do you know?
Hoping to make his way in this event to the semifinal. Jay Peachy and Jeff Stoughton, who is semifinal bound at this Players' Championship. We know they'll be there for sure, and it'll be an exciting 2004-2005 season to determine the rest of the field.
Well, Furby won that first spot through the Canada Cup, and then Mark Dacey got runner-up in the Brier last year, and John Morris then runner-up in the Canada Cup, and this year Peachy third place, or the next team in line at the Brier.
And it's interesting what the Olympics have done for this sport. I just think it's taken it to a new level because, in years gone by, there's talk about a couple of events. This one for absolute sure, the Players' Championship. And now you throw the potential of a gold medal in there, and that seems to be the one event now that ties everybody together.
Well, it certainly helps with the Americans, United States. Debbie McCormick's team winning the gold medal last year. I know it was over Colleen Jones, but it just brings exposure, and NBC has been taping the curling, Ed, and showing 42 minutes did we get of curling?
Yes, there is now this year a lot more curling coverage in the USA. Of course, a lot of the places get CBC, get the finals and stuff like that.
No, just on guard.
There's a lot of them getting satellite coverage and looking at our Sportsnet games all the time. We're trying to do stuff on ESPN in the U.S. as well.
Back to our game, Guy Hemmings with his first rock of
no.
and number 9.
Where is it? Go around hard then.
Wants to go around that guard.
Give it.
And they will work on it. Is it going to get by?
Jesus.
No, it will not.
Sorry, guys.
Sure you can. Huh?
Leaves a pretty much an automatic double here for Kevin Martin.
Okay.
He's got a lot to aim at.
Maybe an intern might squirt right through.
But Kevin's going to go down and take a little extra look.
I think you can roll it up there. I don't know. Because it's there. Whatever turn you want. It doesn't matter. Whatever you want to throw. Fire an intern at it if you want.
No, no turn. No turn. We're trying to go across the top. At least
Kevin Martin trying to make a play on these two. He'd like to come in here and get both of these and then spin his shooter right off to the boards.
Now this is what weight can do, Peter. It's absolutely amazing. Velocity and 2 stones of granite can fly.
Kevin Martin preparing an attempted double.
Get on the roll, Carter.
Carter. Hard. Go hard. A lot of spin on it.
There it is.
All you got. All you got.
Trying to move it over to the boards.
Not much to bury behind way out there.
Even when he, after the rock has made contact, and you watch how this yellow rock spins up, watch how many times that rock, get your legs out of the way there, boys.
About max, eh?
Spins around.
Yep.
For action on it.
If he hits that about a quarter-inch thicker, he probably rolls right off.
I mean, for me, the evolution of this game over the years to watch it, doubles now seem to become routine, triples, and now the ability, like on that shot, for a rock to spin back. And we've seen a few beauties like that over the last couple of years in key situations and in big games.
Line good.
Brings a whole new dimension to the game, Peter. It's amazing.
It is amazing.
D-line.
Whoa, if you can.
D-line.
Hemmings with his last just trying to find
It's there, it's there, it's there.
a little cover
Go hard,
for his stone.
Never stop.
On the edge of the 12. And let's say you can see about a half a rock there.
Well, he stole a point last in, making something out of really what was nothing, and he managed to steal one, so perhaps it'll happen again.
Is it any heavier at all?
Same way.
Kevin Martin's going to put a rock in the house here and score his point, be 3 up coming home.
Well, they're really cleaning it up nicely this time, making sure that there's nothing there to pick.
And Kevin with his last stone in end number 8, when he was on the guard, when it looked like he would score 2 and make it 6-1, he knew the minute it left his hand that it wasn't going where he wanted it to.
Had a nice interval time of 3.68, so shouldn't be light with that. Went through the zone quite quickly.
Can't hurt it. Or maybe you can.
Might sweep it through.
They'll work on it for 1 and a large advantage of 3, and no mistake on this last rock of end number 9 for Kevin Martin, who leads it now by a count of 5-2. As we continue to check in on the remaining quarterfinals still in action, it's Morris and Simmons again.
Morris with control of this game has led it all the way, led it 3-0, and Simmons has tried to get back into it a number of times, and John Morris has just always made the key shot to continue to get the lead. Throws against 3 here and gets 1 to maintain the lead.
John Morris, like Kevin Martin, edges closer to a semifinal berth because he leads by 3, going to the home 10th end. We'll be back with more after this.
Goes free to McGillney on the left wing with Sundin. Sundin's across the line. Snapped it towards the net. Zednik was there. Puck turned over. Green took a shot and Hackett stopped that. Andropov in front for Green. I got it!
Et puis, le jour s'en ira, écoute-moi, alkeredo, maneggio picchia, pochia, e io feci senza esclusione. Nuova età, ma meloditi, ingananconi. Lo sa, violaria, I did it my
What's the right moment? Being able to respond to your partner when you want to might be the difference between an awkward moment and the right moment. If you suffer from erectile dysfunction, a variety of treatments are available. Ask your doctor which treatment options are appropriate for you, or call 1-866-6BE-READY for a free brochure. When the moment is right, will you be ready?
Look what I've got. Yeah! Woo!
You can feel good about serving Swiss Chalet rotisserie chicken.
And for dessert.
And now Swiss Chalet's wholesome quarter chicken dinner comes with a blockbuster rent one, get one free coupon, all for just $7.99.
Hey guys, I'm home. Look what I've got.
That should taste as good as Swiss Chalet.
And the best team in England is... The FA Cup, the road to English supremacy, continues tomorrow on Sportsnet. You're watching Rogers Sportsnet and the Pharmacist Players Championship. Brought to you by Pharmacist. We take the time. M&M Meat Shops. Hundreds of meal ideas, one aisle. And by Viagra. Talk to your doctor.
Quarterfinal update, an opportunity for Brad Height to move on in his matchup versus Glenn Despens.
Well, Peter, we talked about how easy these shots have become so familiar with the Grand Slam. Even though it's a double to win the game, Brad Height has no problem, no mistake. Clean it up, boys. Contact is made, and Brad Height moves on to the semifinals.
The Carrabert native in his ring on their way to the semifinals with a 9-7 victory over Glenn Despens in the quarterfinals. So joining Jeff Stoughton, who moved on with an earlier 9-1 triumph over Mark Noseworthy.
Height's had a terrific year on the tour. He started the year by winning the SGI Classic in Regina, beat Madon in the final, so
maybe go tight,
he's on track again.
Go tight.
And Brad Height set to face the winner of this quarterfinal, our feature game. Kevin Martin in command, leading by 3, but does not have the hammer in end number 10.
No easy task here for Guy Hemmings trying to score 3. You know, really a low-scoring game here, 5-2, not a lot of points. Hemmings had a hard time getting on the board, trailed at 4-0. And now he's at the mercy of the peeling of the Martin team, and they're awfully good at it.
2 in the 10th in. 2 quarterfinals are just that, final, with the Height victory and the Stoughton triumph. And John Morris in control in his matchup with Pat Simmons. And Morris, with the victory, would meet up Stoughton in what was a rematch of last year's Players' Championship final. This year, they would hook up one stage sooner than that.
Well, if you're John Morris, you know that being 3-up going home isn't an automatic win, because it wasn't him in the trials who was 3-up going home against Russ Howard and gave up a 4-ender behind a corner guard, one single corner guard. So sometimes miracles or whatever, or the reverse of it does happen.
Youngster and his mom enjoying the activities. I don't know if Mom was trying to get his better side there or what the situation was.
Show my left side.
Yes. Mom thinks that side's better for me.
Guy has the goalposts up, a corner guard on either side, and he's hoping for either a whiff or a nose hit here from Walchuk. Does not get it.
Coming your way immediately following our draw here this afternoon, it's the next edition of Sportsnet News with your fine host, Jason Corwando. He'll focus on the final Saturday night of the National Hockey League's regular season and 2 huge games involving the Leafs and the Sens and the Edmonton Oilers in Vancouver to take on the Canucks. And we'll preview both of those for you coming up on that show. And of course, the Hockey Central playoff edition will come your way on Monday. But before that, the Saturday Hockey Central show will come your way at 6 o'clock Eastern.
Hemmings changed strategy here. Rather than throwing another corner, he's gone in behind that. Still hoping that he might get a nose here that might just barely miss the back one or jam it. He needs something here to help him set up his three-ender.
Don Walchuk looking for another peel.
Can't hide too many rocks now against Martin's team.
And Walchuk executes the shot perfectly. And in fine humor as he makes his way down the ice. Kevin Martin's team involved in 3 Grand Slam events this year, and they've won in the quarterfinals of all 3. It's the next stage that they have yet to conquer as far as this year's Grand Slam events are concerned.
Between halfway and visor.
A date with Brad Height awaits the winner of this. John Morris trying to clinch his semifinal berth in the sheet next versus Pat Simmons.
And not much in play here right now. Morris just has to get rid of this stone. Kevin Cooey, the third there holding the broom, made a fine raised double on his last stone, so he's made it a little bit easier for skipper John Morris to finish this one off.
John Morris running Pat Simmons out of rocks, and the Calgary foursome on its way to the semifinals of the Players' Championship with an 8-5 victory. And that sets up quite a semifinal tomorrow involving himself and Jeff Stout. And the Martin rink trying to run Guy Hemmings out of rocks with a 5-2 advantage in end number 10.
Well, Marilyn, where do you put this one?
Well,
Kevin Martin
this is a time that we need one of those little tiny little rocks, you know, so that Kevin can't see it, you see.
Well, he's just that one rock short. He was only 2 down here. He has that setup. But getting that extra point, well, it's a huge task.
Lots of weight. And it looks like it'll come to rest on the tee line. 3 have advanced to tomorrow's semifinals. Stoughton will face Morris, and Brad Height awaiting this shot from Kevin Martin. He has an opportunity with this delivery to officially stamp his way into the semifinals here on Sunday, and we'll have all the action for you again tomorrow of both the semifinals and the championship final right here on Rogers Sportsnet.
Well, this is the type of shot that Kevin Martin just loves. One word, clean. And he's on his way to a semifinal.
And we got 4 strong teams in those semifinals.
One more word, done. Another, clinched. Kevin Martin with a takeout. And his rink on their way to Sunday's semifinals by knocking off Guy Hemmings in the quarterfinals by a count of 5-2. And one thinks back to that brilliant shot he made in end number 7. Coming up next, Sportsnet News with Jason Portwando, and they will focus on a large Saturday in the National Hockey League, as well a big game at the World Women's Hockey Championship in Halifax. And here are our semifinal matchups for tomorrow noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. It's a rematch of last year's Players' Championship final. Morris and Stoughton. Height will face Martin in the other. And the faces tell the story. For Marilyn Bodo and Ed Lukowicz, I'm Peter Lubardius saying so long for now from St. John's.
Only a couple days, okay?
Sportsnet